Our BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT as ABC Sports brings you to Tallahassee for 5th-ranked Florida State and number 2 Miami, both undefeated at 5-0. Today, Brock Berlin will try to become the first-time starting quarterback for the Canes since '87 to win here. On the other side, Miami has won 3 straight. The Florida State seniors, led by Bo Ware and company, have never beaten their arch nemesis from Miami. 47th reunion next. Years, both teams ranked in the top 20, but only the 4th time both teams ranked in the top 5. Here comes Florida State. Both times they won their national championship, they beat these guys to get there. Here's the 5-time national champs from South Florida. Oh, you can feel it. Welcome, everybody. Brad Nessler and Bob Greasy. This is the 47th renewal of these old rivals. And for Miami and Florida State, I don't think, Greasy, we've ever done a game with 2 top 5 teams where there's more question marks. Talking with Larry Coker and Bobby Bowden this week, they said, you know, we'll tell you at 3:30 how good our teams is. Bobby Bowden said it's a measuring stick game, so let's measure them. Miami's 5-0. They could very easily be 3-2. They just escaped West Virginia a week ago Thursday.
Exactly, and their offense seems to be struggling because of that West Virginia game 10 days ago. Jared Payton gets his first start as a 5th-year senior at the University of Miami. Not because he's not good, because he's had 2 #1 draft picks, Portis and McGahee, in front of him. He gets to play today, but I think the key for Miami is Kellen Winslow, their big tight end. He leads them in receptions. He's got to have a big day as well as Brock Berlin. But they've got to play well to give him a chance.
Yep, well, the reason he's starting is because Frank Gore out with an ACL for the 2nd time in 3 years. You talk about Florida State's offense. We saw Chris Ricks a couple weeks ago against Colorado look great. They look good against Duke. They're playing well. There's one constant that nobody can argue with. Florida State's defense looks like it's back.
Well, I like Chris Ricks, and I think he's back, and I think he's going to do well. But when you talk about Florida State, the defense jumps out at you. They lead the nation in fewest points allowed, 5th in defense overall. They've only sacked they haven't sacked Miami's quarterbacks in the last 3 years, so you know they're going to get after it. But I think this game is going to come down to turnovers. With the weather the way it is, turnovers, defensive scores, and special team scores are going to play a big part of it.
Well, it could very well come down to the smallest guys on the field. With more on that, let's go down to the field. Here's our 3rd man on our team, Lynn Swan. Swanee?
We focus so much on the big talent, the guys who've been drafted in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd round of the National Football League from the teams in this game. But it very often comes down to the small guys, the kickers. John Petty for Miami. What a game he had against West Virginia, winning it with 5 field goals. He's 10 out of his last 10. He's from the Gulf Coast. He considers himself a cool surfer guy, which plays well in today's rain. Xavier Bethia has the job for Florida State. He is also on the roll, 4 out of his last 4. His longest is about 29 yards this season. He is a young man that had a chance to win it for Florida State last year in the same matchup. There is nothing more that he wants than have a last chance to win it again for Florida State this time out, Brad.
It's a good thing swans like water. It's 75 degrees. It's been raining all morning. Bob, it'll affect the game without a doubt unless it clears up in a hurry.
No question about it. And, you know, if it does, you know, Miami might be favored in that area because 1/3 of the touchdowns their offense has scored has come from their defense or the return teams on the kicking game.
Get into the game with Enhanced TV. Play along. Get up-to-the-minute stats. Vote in polls. Enhanced TV is live now at ESPN.com. Florida State won the toss. They deferred. There's Xavier Bethia, who Swanee just spoke of. He'll tee it up. And one of the great return teams in the country waiting deep. We saw Devin Hester, the opening kickoff against Florida, take it 97 for a touchdown. He's been out with an ankle injury since that game. He's back, and you can tell he's ready to go.
And he is a true freshman.
We're all set.
He's got to be a little excited.
I'd say. 47th meeting between these 2 rivals, and the kick is short. Takes a splash at the 12, picked up at the 9. Hester trying to tightrope the sideline. And he's out across the 25-yard line. Good return when it looked like he might be dumped inside his own 10. So Brock Berlin, a kid who is undefeated in the last 51 games he's played in dating back to high school. His record at Miami is 5-0. He was the savior in the Florida game. We saw and did for you.
He has seemed to play his best football when he needs to in the fourth quarter at Florida and last week against West Virginia.
The Canes start just inside their own 28. Winslow in motion. Quick throw out to Winslow. He's buried immediately. Loss. Nope, they're going to say incomplete. In fact, Stanford Samuels from Miami made the stop. Let's take a look at our Outback Steakhouse starting lineups. Here's how they look. Winston carries a great one at the guard spot. Rodriguez, Myers, and Carlos Joseph. The backs and receivers for the Canes. Jared Payton making his first start, as Bob mentioned. Quadrant Hill is the fullback. Winslow the tight end, and Beard and Moore the wide receivers. Larry Coker 29-1 at Miami as head coach. Second down and 10. Payton slipped. Ball almost came out, and he's dumped for a loss. Darnell Dockett was the first guy there for Florida State defensively, and here's how their group looks. Up front, it's a good one. Emmanuel, Dockett, Womble, and Moore really strong at the two tackle spots. Boulware, Augustin, and Pope are all senior linebackers. They want to win this one badly in the secondary. Much better than a year ago. McFadden, Ward, Carter, and Stanford Samuels, who made the first play of the ball game defensively for the Noles.
A veteran defense. 10 starters returned from last year. 7 seniors and 4 juniors.
From the shotgun now for Berlin. Heavy rain at Doak Campbell on a 3rd down and 13. Berlin fires it complete, but way short of a first down. Kevin Beard made the catch. B.J. Ward dropped him in his tracks, and it's 3 and out Miami.
Well, conditions like this, you want to play defense first because the offense is going to have trouble pitching and catching. Berlin's got a glove on. He came out initially without the glove, didn't throw very well, put a glove on. That seemed to help him get a little bit more traction, a little friction on the ball.
So Brian Monroe, the freshman, will have to kick. Dominic Robinson is waiting on the other end. Not a good kick, and Robinson will have to let it bounce. Everybody clears out of the way, and this is not the kind of weather, as guys are sliding all over the place, that either of these teams wanted to play in this matchup.
Well, you know, in this kind of weather, if you had practice, you might cancel practice, or you at least delay it. But a lot of times you have to practice in this because you may have to play in it. Here you go.
Chris Ricks, 63% of his passes. We saw him have a huge game against Colorado. This is his 27th career start. He's won 19 of them. Often maligned by even the hometown fans. As we said to him a couple weeks ago, I said, Chris, the good news is you've started 3 years. The bad news is you've had to take 3 years of grief. He's getting better, though, every week.
Every week, and he's gone through all that. The good side of it is yet to come.
Jones trying to bounce it outside as there was nothing inside, and he picked up maybe 2 yards. Greg Jones, who had the big game against Miami a year ago. Outback Steakhouse starting lineups for Florida State. The big eaters up front. These guys can go through some bloomin' onions. Barron, Meinrod, Castillo, Meeks, and Willis. The backs and receivers, you already saw Jones. B.J. Deans is lead man. Irons the tight end. P.K. Sam and Crefonzo Thorpe, 2 of many receivers you'll see for Florida State today. 2nd down and 8. From the 32, just a toss to Jones, trying to get to the corner. And that Miami defense, as it always is, quickly out there to meet him, stopping him short of the 35. John Vilma is the guy that made the stop defensively for the Canes. And here's how they look up front. Carroll, Wilfork, the big fella at about 345 inside. Harris and Atkins, who's back after an ankle injury, kept him out a week ago. Rangy linebackers, Williams, Vilma, McClover. And the secondary is a good one, led by Sean Taylor, an All-American. Roll, Threet making a start today, and Alfonso Marshall. Threet's in there because Mo Sykes is out injured, but still may play. 3rd down and 5, Florida State. Ricks running out of time, and down he goes. Sacked by Thomas Carroll. Way back at the 18-yard line.
This Miami defense has been very, very dominant. Watch from the left side over here. Carroll, the defensive end, just going to go up the field, Number 90 makes the sack, first sack of the ball game.
Only the 11th sack Florida State's given up, and they lost 13 yards. Now they have to punt. Had some pressure on the kicker, but he got it away. Roscoe Parrish clears out, and much like the first punt of the ball game, they just have to get everybody out of the way, let the ball roll into a puddle at the 41-yard line, and that is where Miami will have it back on offense when we come back. How'd you like to own the poncho concessions today?
That's a good idea.
It's a little wet out there. Good starting field position for Miami, though.
Exchange of punts, Brad. Miami picked up 13 yards. That may be key all day in this weather.
And they'll work this time from the 41. Payton. Oh, not much. Got about a yard. Florida State, Bob mentioned, they're the #1 scoring defense in the country. That's not all they do well, though. 22 sacks.
They're third in the nation in sacks. I mean, come on. You don't need to go against the defense this good and then have a bad field and a wet ball, too.
3 touchdowns in 5 games is all they've allowed. That's pretty good. That's enough to make Mickey Andrews smile, and he doesn't smile about everything.
Oh, yeah.
2nd down and 9 from the 42. Wind picks up now on top of the rain. Play action for Berlin. He wants it all. Going deep on the left sideline. And it's out of bounds, incomplete, intended for Ryan Moore. As we check in with John Saunders in New York. John?
Brad, the Verizon wireless update, Virginia Tech against Syracuse. Remember triple overtime last year, all kinds of passing. This time Brian Randall says, I'll do it on the ground. Great move right there on the sideline. Another there. Picks up a block and carries it 75 yards for the touchdown. Virginia Tech on top early, 7-0.
All right, John, here we had a flag on the last play.
Ineligible receiver, downfield. One of the receivers was covered, went downfield. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
It was still 2nd down. Jack Kramer, our referee, walks it off against Miami. 2 of the most highly penalized teams in all of college football. And oddly enough, 10 of the last 12 times these teams have gotten together, the team that had the most penalties won the ball game.
Don't send that out over America. That sends the wrong message.
Yes, it does. Bobby Bowden just 1 game behind Joe Paterno, and Joe will play a little bit later on ABC. 2nd down, 14. Now Berlin from the gun again. Brock's got trouble from behind. He got rid of it, though, and completed it to Ryan Moore on the run. Moore down the sideline, all the way down to the 29-yard line.
Nice job by Brock Berlin, hanging in there as long as he possibly can. A lot of guys on these teams, these 2 teams can make big plays, and most of them are at the wide receiver position. Ryan Moore, a redshirt freshman playing for the first time this year, makes the first big one of the day.
Career-long catch for Moore, and he got it to the 28-yard line. So there's your first big play of the ball game. Moss comes into the lineup at a wide receiver spot to give Moore a breather. Winslow in motion. 2nd man through is Payton, and Payton broke a tackle. Jarrett Payton all the way down to the 11-yard line. 17 yards for Payton. So one of the guys Bob talked about it would have to have a big game. In for the injured Frank Gore, the senior Jarrett Payton.
Watch the blocking up front on the left side of the offensive line. The fullback's going to get a nice block too. Right here, watch the fullback as he gets on the line, on the safety. That's Carter. Just pick it up a little bit more. He could have got into the end zone.
So they get it to the 11-yard line. That's when you start thinking about Winslow. He's their main man in the red zone. He's on a wing to the right. 1st and 10 from the 11. Berlin one-hopped it out there to Quadrant Hill.
Miami has had trouble scoring touchdowns inside the 20-yard line.
Last week they had 5 field goals off the foot of their freshman kicker. Swanee told you in the open, and a lot of that was because they couldn't punch it in the end zone. You see the glove on Brock Berlin's hand, and you also saw number 81 walk up and whisper something in his ear hole.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, he was telling him how he was going to get open, or that he was open on that last play.
Berlin has a look And points at Augustin, the middle linebacker.
Well, you got single coverage up here.
Winslow is in motion. It's Payton, and he only got about a yard. Nice job by Augustin, the middle linebacker, number 40. A guy who's a self-made football player. Came here as a walk-on. He's their leading tackler. He studies as much film, Mickey Andrews says, as most of the coaches do, and he says he'll be a great coach someday. Undersized, maybe 220 if he's lucky. But boy, has he become something since walking on here as a freshman.
He's from Miami High School.
One of two on that defense,
so he
along
knows,
with Stanford Samuels.
Knows a lot of those Hurricanes.
You bet. 3rd down and 9. Beard in motion, and everybody jumping. Eric Moore jumped, so did the right tackle, Carlos Joseph. And let's see what the officials have for us. Looked to be Florida State that jumped early before Joseph, but maybe not.
Prior to the snap, false start.
It goes the other way. So they walk it off 5 against Miami. Second penalty on this drive for them.
The defensive man jumps first. Watch right here. He's going to jump first, and then I think it's Winslow. Then he moves, and then the guy on the other side moves.
Yeah,
they had everybody moving.
I didn't see Winslow come out of his stance. I was looking at the right tackle. So.
Eric Moore, the defensive end, was the first guy to come across the line of scrimmage.
So that makes it tough. Berlin from the gun. 3rd and 14. Miami on the march, trying to score first. Wide open on a crossing pattern, Roscoe Parrish. But Florida State's going to track him down before he can get to the first down marker. Got to about the 5. Samuels, McFadden, and Augustin all finally converge on him, and that'll send out the field goal unit for the Canes.
And again, the Hurricanes don't convert inside the 20-yard line, but that was a difficult situation. 3rd and 15. Moved it up a little bit closer for John Petty.
This is going to be about a 23-yard field goal.
Yeah, get on the board first.
Petty, as Swanee told you, has made 10 straight since missing his first kick as a collegiate. And he missed this one to the left.
That's the same one he made 10 days ago against West Virginia to win the game.
Still no score. 8:20 remaining first quarter in Tallahassee. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. Jeep, the most respected, honored, and heroic 4x4s out there. Only in a Jeep 4x4. And Dr. Pepper, and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you, nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. Soggy Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee has rained most of the morning. Has lightened up just a little bit right now as Florida State's going to take over after that missed field goal from 22 yards by John Petty. First one he's missed in his last 10 kicks.
The forecast was for rain early, and then, supposed to get better as the day went on.
The wind's picking up. Maybe it'll blow it out of here. We hope so. Florida State from its own 20. They fake the toss, and Ricks on a bootleg wants to throw, and he has to, well, I was going to say throw it away, but he almost got it to P.K. Sam, who made a diving attempt. And let's dive out to New York and John Saunders.
Well, it's Virginia Tech against Syracuse again. Syracuse got a penalty on the punt, so they had to punt it again. Bad news. D'Angelo Hall takes it and takes off 58 yards. Another great move as Syracuse continues to have problems tackling. Now 14-0.
4th-ranked Virginia Tech still under everybody's radar right now. Sneaking up on people. Florida State ranked 5th. Miami number 2 with 8:12 remaining in the first quarter. No score still. Ricks changing things on a 2nd down. Almost dropped the ball. Gave it off to Leon Washington, and he got 2. Leon Washington and Lorenzo Booker, a couple of injured backs for Florida State that we haven't seen since early in the season, and we'll see both of them today.
Interesting that Florida State is getting 2 running backs back from injury. Miami has lost Frank Gore for the rest of the season, so they're getting worse in that situation. Florida State is getting better.
On 3rd down this season, there's what Chris Ricks has done. He's got a 3rd and 8 here. They'll keep it on the ground, though. And they only get to the 25 with Washington. And John Vilma made the stop. So that's going to bring out the punting unit again for Florida State.
You mentioned a little bit earlier, last year's game, Florida State was able to run. They almost had 300 yards on the ground rushing.
Greg Jones had 189 of that, and 134 of it came in the first half. That's Roscoe Parrish. Miami, the #1 punt return team in the country. This one whistled dead before it ever got underway. And we're assuming we're going to have to do it all again.
I don't know where the referee's going, but
thought he was going out for a hot dog there for a second. Well, we'll do it again without any kind of announcement.
Okay, I'll tell you what happened, guys.
Good.
Somebody blew a whistle in the stands, and the official came over, looked in the stands. Someone on the Miami student section here just blew a whistle prior to the play.
And this one's blocked. Miami blocks the kick, scoops it up. Sean Taylor at the 14-yard line. Tell you what, Florida State would like to have that first punt back, wouldn't they?
sure would. Snap is good.
3 Hurricanes there. And then Sean Taylor scoops it up.
Right up in here. First big break goes to Miami.
So now let's see if the Canes can capitalize. At the 14. Brock Berlin on first down. Down the middle. Got it to Winslow. And Kellen Winslow to the 9. Picked up 5.
Kellen Winslow, 2 guys on him. He's probably going to see a lot of double coverage here today.
Bob and Brad, the rain seems to be letting up a little bit. But early in the ball game, I talked to Larry Coker about whether or not the rain affects the game plan. He goes, well, the rain's not going to affect our game plan in terms of what we want to do, but it will affect it in terms of how we do it. He was indicating that the balls will be a lot shorter in terms of the passing game, runs that are more straight ahead, that you don't have to turn your shoulders to the line of scrimmage.
Winslow in motion on 2nd and 5. And it's Jared Payton. And he's popped as he got to the line of scrimmage, trying to fight his way off. And can't. The Seminoles have about 5 guys there to meet him.
The other thing that, Swanee, that's tough is the offensive line trying to get movement when the field is soft, because when you drive to push off, your feet just give out.
And during the pregame warm-up, none of the players had any problem with traction. They're running their routes, the line was digging in pretty good, and everything is fine. But once you get to the game and the adrenaline takes you up another notch, it's just that little half-inch or 2 inches of slippage that loses the traction for you.
Last time they couldn't get a touchdown in the red zone. At 3rd and 5 here with 3 wideouts for Berlin. Beard is in motion toward the ball. Berlin to the end zone, just overshot Kevin Beard, the guy that was in motion. And that would have been a 6 right there.
It was well designed. He just needed to take a little bit off of it. Not throw it so hard, just throw it right here. He's just going to go straight down the field.
Just sailed on him.
Had to throw it. He had to throw it over Augustin's head, and he had to throw it early.
This time the ball will be spotted right in the middle of the field, not on the hash mark. Petty, who missed earlier from 22, will try from 27 to break our scoreless tie. And this time he's got it. John Petty with the right foot from 27 yards out gives us our first score of the ball game. Remember, it came after the blocked punt. So Miami draws first blood, up 3. Back at Doak Campbell Stadium, the blocked punt led to the field goal. And Grease, when you're captain of the special teams, you make plays like this.
Gerald Weaver, number 58. Just they find a soft spot. They study these things like they study offense and defense. And right there, got the punt.
And then Sean Taylor recovered it after it squirted around for a while. And that led to the 27-yard field goal. Only a 5-yard drive if you want to call it a drive.
See, everybody talks about offense and defense, but in these types of games, big games, special teams, and the punt, the one biggest play in the game is the punt. You're trying to punt the ball. Will they run it back? Will you get it blocked? You've got to be sound in your punting game.
Monroe, high short kick off the side of his foot. This is a free ball. Did Miami catch it? Jenkins says he did. The officials have not signaled yet. They did. The oddest onside looking kick you'll ever see. Miami's got the ball back.
It's a gutsy call by Larry Coker. Ball's coming down to the top middle right here. It's coming. Now he got it. Whether he gets his foot in bounds, just have to get 1 foot in bounds, just like catching the ball.
Looked like he did. Fans here don't think so as they've seen the replay, but it looked like he scraped his right foot.
Look over here.
He's got it.
He did. His left foot, his left toe was in bounds.
That might be the best catch of Darnell Jenkins' life.
And he's a freshman. Gutsy call by Larry Coker.
At the 33-yard line, Miami's got it right back. Play action. Berlin's in trouble. Throws as he's hit and almost intercepted by Boulware. Augustin was draped all over Brock Berlin, and he threw a dangerous pass that could have been picked off. You know, after the Colts' incredible comeback last week, you know that anything's possible when the teams play on Monday Night Football. This week, the Falcons head to St. Louis, where the Rams have won 8 in a row. Monday Night Football, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC. And boy, what a wacky game last week. Al and John and Lisa had.
Boy.
And then a wacky game on ESPN last night with almost the same numbers.
Almost
Michigan over Minnesota.
Same scenario, 38-35, but no overtime.
2nd and 10 for Berlin. Fires to an open man. Winslow on the run. First down, Miami, down to the 14-yard line. Pickup of 19. Penalty marker near the end of the run. 5-yard face mask penalty is what the call will be. So Bobby Bowden's offense hasn't been able to touch it for the last few minutes.
Winslow, number 81, just going across the formation. This is always good. Beats either man coverage or zone coverage. You can pick where you want to hit him.
And the penalty, Boulware was chasing from behind, but it's right there when B.J. Ward came over. The incidental face mask, a 5-yard tack on. It's 1st and goal at the 9-yard line.
So Miami has come out aggressively. 2 special team turnovers have put him in great field position.
1st and goal, Canes at the Knowles 9, leading 3-0. Berlin from the shotgun. Plenty of time. Throws behind his intended receiver, Kellen Winslow.
Bob and Brad, just to go back to that onside kick for a moment, I found out that that kick was not a called onside kick. It was just one of those lucky occurrences that can happen. But give the credit to the Miami special teams unit for understanding what the rules of the games are and making sure they can take advantage of a bad kickoff.
What an awful kickoff.
Well, you know, when I called it, I thought he just almost missed it or it was so wet. I just think it went off the side of his foot. But pretty fortuitous for Miami. Garrett Payton, draw play inside. Payton fights his way down to about the 6. We'll give him 3, and we're down to 4.5 minutes first quarter. Michael Boulware in on the stop. Boulware this week, everybody was talking to Kellen Winslow, and Kellen Winslow has said, nobody can cover me one-on-one. I don't care who it is. If it's a linebacker, a safety, it doesn't matter. And Boulware, when told about that, said, you know what, we'll just talk on the field.
Yeah, Michael Boulware is an outstanding player, and nobody can cover a really good tight end or wide receiver one-on-one. There aren't many people that can do that, but Boulware is an outstanding player.
On 3rd down, Berlin flares it out. Payton has to dive, though, to splash down to make the catch, and so that'll stop him just outside the 5. Garrett starting to lose his balance anyway. The pass was a little bit in front of him. And it was a swan dive to the 5, and that's where the kicking unit will come out again.
And Bob and Brad, you talked about Boulware covering the tight end. I believe on that last play, they actually had Bulware split out covering a wide receiver, since they like to throw the Kellen Winslow in this territory, and they have the defensive back on him.
That'll be fun to watch. They keep doing that. Well, he missed from 22. He hit from 27. This is his second crack from 22, only this time from the right hash mark. John Petty to try to make it 6-0, and he does for Miami. But Florida State's got to be breathing a sigh of relief and saying, wait, we haven't even seen the ball in the last 5 minutes, and we're still only down 6 points.
And mark my words, those missed opportunities for the Hurricanes inside the 20, settling for field goals, is going to come back to hurt them.
3 trips in the red zone and only 6 points. Let's check in with John Saunders in New York with an update. John.
Well, Brad, I told you D'Angelo Hall returned one 58 yards for a touchdown. This is not an instant replay. It's 2 yards further out, 60 yards away from a tackle there. Picks up a great block. His second of the game, and Virginia Tech now leading it 21-0.
What's he doing? His Dante Hall impression or what? Sebastian the Ibis waving a wet flag. It's 6-0 though. His team in front. 6-play drive netted only another field goal. So Monroe, let's see if he gets a hold of this one.
Now Monroe is the punter,
right,
who also handles the kickoff duties. Now we're going to go back and take a look at after this kickoff.
His first misfire?
Yeah, we're going to see that little pop up. I want to know if he did it on purpose, or if did he slip, or what.
Yeah, he approaches this one and kicks it high and short. Profonzo Thorpe will take it at the 10. Thorpe got outside and run out right in front of the Miami bench at about the 30-yard line. And a penalty marker as well. There's one at the beginning of the play, which is probably offside on the kicking team, and there's one on the other end of the field. So everybody's pointing different ways here. Offside on the kicking team. That's the first one. Dead ball foul, personal foul against Florida State. And Bobby's on the headset already.
He's talking about what plays we're going to run this series for the Noles.
They haven't run any for quite a while, and in their first 2 drives, only 6 plays and -3 yards, and they haven't picked up a first down yet. So that's not a good quarter. All right, Jack, straighten it out. Giving Chris Ricks the options. The offside would be, if accepted, a re-kick, but again, the personal foul's at the end of the run back. There's only one group of guys that knows what's going on right now, and they're struggling with it. Every week it gets more difficult. Some hardy fans out here. They've been out here since sunup, and the sun still isn't up.
There are 2 penalties on the play. The first is offside on the kicking team. That will be a 5-yard penalty. After that, we have a dead ball, personal foul against the receiving team. Will march off 15 yards. Net result, it'll kick off from the 45-yard line.
It's a whole bunch of math going on there.
But they don't offset when you have a major and a minor.
Exactly.
The major takes precedence, so the Hurricanes kick from 15 yards up further. They're not going to kick from the 45-yard line.
And now if Monroe kicks away, it should get to the end zone. If he doesn't, this would be a golden opportunity to try another onside if you really want to get gutsy about it.
As you talk about, if that wasn't planned, and it didn't look like it was before when he popped that ball up, that certainly worked out well for the Hurricanes.
Profonzo Thorpe still waiting, as we've had about a 6-minute delay to walk off 10 yards to re-kick. Another 6 minutes of our lives we'll never get back. Well, high and short again, and I mean really short. Somebody's going to have to scramble to get there. This one goes out of bounds. There's another flag. Now we'll start at a new yard line.
Monroe's having all kinds of trouble kicking that ball off of a tee. It's a wet. His footing is wet. And he's
kick off out of bounds by the kicking team. Ball will be placed on the 35-yard line. First down.
Finally. Let's take a look at our Jeep rushing playbook, Robert.
Well, we had this play a little earlier. Jared Payton had a nice little run right up in here. Let's go ahead and start it now. We're going to notice how everybody's going to get a hat on somebody. Every white shirt's going to get a block on somebody else. Now look at this. Here's a block. Here's a block. Here's a block. There's a block. Everybody's got a man. Now that's the way you're going to have to, if you want a successful rushing play, that's what you have in mind. Everybody staying on your feet, blocking somebody downfield.
So here's the Florida State offense that has done nothing so far in the first quarter. Its first couple of drives, couple 3 and outs. On first down, Ricks down the middle, hits his man. First down to PK Sam at the 37-yard line.
That conversation that Bobby had in that headphone up to his son Jeff said, son, let's just start throwing the ball.
Put him in a shotgun, let's let it rip. And here they come without a huddle.
Yeah, let's mix it up.
This is what Chris Ricks, much like Brock Berlin, likes to play out of. So they'll line him up with 4 wideouts. Booker flanks him in the shotgun. Longest play of the day right there for Florida State, a pickup of 12. And here's the inside handoff to Booker. And he lost the ball. Chris Ricks got on top of it. Nope, Miami's got it. Ricks is the one with it in his hands.
The officials saying that Miami had it and fumbled it, but they were down when they fumbled it when Ricks got on it.
Vince Wilfork put a fork in it, I think, and then lost it.
You're absolutely correct, Brad. It was Vince Wilfork that took it from Lorenzo Booker, picked it up off the ground. But when he fell to the ground, I'm standing there looking at him. I didn't see the football. Of course, you can hide the football around Vince Wilfork pretty easily.
That's right. Here's another look as Booker is hit.
See, that's the problem. Booker, and there's a fumble being picked up by Wilfork.
And Wilfork, oh.
It did come out before he was down. Booker just got back from 3 weeks of being out on injury. He's a redshirt freshman. He hasn't played a lot. Yeah, you got to hold on to that football when you get into that defensive line.
But did the ball come out before Wilfork hit the deck? As Ricks is the guy that made the tackle.
I think it did.
Berlin, deep streak on the sideline, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Pat Watkins. So Florida State's got it right back. Turnover for turnover. One of the young guys in the secondary that they're so high on, Pat Watkins, a sophomore, with a big play.
Trying to get the ball to Parrish, number 1 down the sideline. You've got to see the safety coming over. Said there was a lot of turnovers. The defense was good. There was going to probably be a lot of defensive plays in this game.
Eric Moore got some heat.
Couldn't wait any longer.
And now the bad news is for Florida State, they're inside their own 5. Greg Jones back in there with Chris Ricks in the Florida State backfield. Dangerous spot to play from, though. It's Ricks on a quarterback draw, and he's buried at the 1. Sean Taylor from the secondary.
Hey, Bob and Brad, I'd like to go back to that interception just for one moment, and you watch Watkins take that ball away. Now, Bob, you know that when the play takes off here, the receiver's going, Watkins leaves Winslow. It's man coverage. Berlin thought the receiver had his man beat, but he just takes off from Winslow and makes the play. That's something a quarterback, I don't think, could ever calculate.
Here's a tough spot for Florida State. They're at their own 1-yard line. First man through is Coleman, the fullback, and he only got to about the 3. E.J. Williams is there to make the stop.
You know, in a game like this, Brad, you got to have a short memory. Whether you're a defensive back, whether you're a receiver, whether you're a quarterback.
Or a punter in one play from now.
Just think of all the things that have happened, and we're not even through the first quarter yet. We got 3 quarters to play. If you're a quarterback, if you're Chris Ricks or Berlin, Hey, we need to go out and make plays. You're going to make some mistakes. We just need to make plays.
Florida State hasn't converted a third down yet. 3rd and 11 here. Play action. Ricks wants to throw from his own end zone. Going deep for Crefonzo Thorpe. And he caught it. That's how you get out of your own end zone. Flag down at the spot where the ball was caught.
It's against the defense. Penalties decline. First down.
First down, Seminoles.
Thorpe on the outside running against Jennings, number 22. Jennings never saw the ball. Thorpe just saw it all the way and made a tough catch. The ball was slightly underthrown. Big play for the Noles.
At the 49 of Miami now, trailing 6-0, final minute of the first quarter. Chris Ricks barks instructions to his 3 wide receiver group, and he'll give it off to Greg Jones. And Jones is swarmed under Sean Taylor, always around the ball, and it's a loss of 4.
That run game that was there against Miami last year is nothing this year.
With that last pass to Crefonzo Thorpe, Chris Ricks is just past Charlie Ward, the Heisman Trophy winner, on the all-time list as far as yards gained, and moves into the number 5 spot, and Thad Busby still could be in his sights before the day's over. A second down coming up and long. Might be the final play of the quarter on a 2nd and 14. Ricks from the shotgun. Swings it out. James Coleman, the fullback, got back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe 1 more yard, and that's about it. And that's it for the first quarter. So as Bob said, we've had a lot of things happen. Turnovers both ways, fumble recoveries, blocked punts. Only 2 field goals to show for it. Miami leading in Tallahassee 6-0. You're watching the BCS Spotlight Game presented by ADT. Our presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC station. Great day if you're a duck or a frog. That's the hash mark on the left side of the field, and it is getting soggy.
Water everywhere.
Soggy shoes, heavy football. 6-0 as we start the second quarter. Miami in front on the road, but Florida State in Cane territory with a big 3rd down and 9.
It's a game for the big uglies, not the pretty boys.
You got that right. Ricks from the gun. Deep down the middle. Overshot his man. It's intercepted. And it's Sean Taylor making another big play.
See, that's where the inconsistency of Chris Ricks comes into play. Should have never thrown that ball. It was a tough trying to get. He's got to try to hit the receiver coming straight down the middle of the field.
Chris Davis was the intended receiver.
He looks there all the way and just throws it up. Had a guy short, had a guy deep. That's one that Chris should have never thrown.
If anything, Bob, he should have done just what he did, then pulled it back and thrown it to the short man coming across who was wide open.
Anything, just throw it away. You never want to make that throw down the middle of the field when there's a deep safety.
So Miami gets it right back. Yet another turnover. They work from the 25. Payton does a nice job of weaving his way for almost 7 yards as we check in with John Saunders in New York.
Michigan State against Illinois in the Big Ten. John Butcher drops back to pass, sets up, lofts it. Not far enough. It's picked up by Eric Smith, who returns this down to the 3-yard line. It sets up on 4th and goal. Tyrell Dortch gets the touchdown. 14-7. Spartans are up.
All right, John, here it's Miami 6-0 in the second quarter. Tyrone Moss, the freshman's checked in to the Hurricane backfield for the first time. They're going to give it to him. And he's upended before he really got anything going. Allen Augustin was the guy that tripped him up. So second-ranked Miami leading by 2 field goals by John Petty. He missed from 22, but then hit a couple of field goals, and that's our score right now. These 2 teams both ranked in the top 20 for the 17th time in the last 20 years. This is meeting number 47. And Miami leads the all-time matchup 26 games to 20.
Well, they have 7 national championships in the last 20 years between these two teams.
5 for the Canes, 2 for the Noles. 3rd and 4. Berlin fires. Boy, that's a dangerous pass. And Roscoe Parrish not only caught it, he got a first down.
Rufus Brown, number 7, was out there, saw it all the way. I don't know how they got this ball past him.
I'm not quite sure how he caught it either, because he had the first down marker staring right in his face as well.
Neither one of these guys could look over a bar. I mean, they're both short.
Look at that catch.
Wow.
That's nice. That's nice.
That's beautiful. Hey, guys, one of the things about playing in the rain, the only way you're going to have any kind of success is to focus. We've seen Moore and we've now seen Parrish focus on big catches here. Confonso Thorpe making big plays.
No doubt. Play action for Berlin. Flares it out to Kellen Winslow on the run. Winslow down the sideline. B.J. Ward has to collar him, but not before he got to the 46-yard line of Florida State. 19-yard pickup.
Winslow moving around. They've got him in the backfield. Kellen Winslow is going to slide out of the backfield. Little play action fake. Now they get him the ball any way they can. This is when he's most dangerous. He is an outstanding runner.
And you know, Parrish got a nice block. The guy who just made the catch moments ago got a decent block that sprung him farther loose for that 17-yard gain to the 47.
Winslow never looks very big. He's 6'5" and 250, but he's always lining up next to those offensive tackles who weigh 350.
They come with an end around to Parrish. Pretty active on this drive. Roscoe Parrish down to the 30. Boy, a catch, a block, and an end around. This guy's doing a little bit of everything right now.
Parrish has played in a lot of big games, and he's played in a lot of slop. He played down in Miami. They got a lot of rain down there, and they play a lot of high school games and this type of stuff. And he's a guy that relies on quickness and cuts and shake and bake, and he's doing very nicely with a wet field.
And you know, he got a nice block on his end around from Sonoris Moss. So the wideouts for Miami putting a lick on some of those defensive backs for Florida State. And the other Moss goes to the 27-yard line. Here's a guy that was one of the most highly touted backs coming out of the country last year, too. Broward County's all-time rushing champion, over 7,000 high school yards. And they say he's going to be really good. Right now, he doesn't know how to pick up the blitz and some of those things.
Exactly. When he's in the ball game, he's probably going to touch the football, or he's going to be sent out for a pass. He's not going to stay in the block because, first of all, he doesn't always know who to block, and secondly, he doesn't do it very well.
Great combination. 2nd down and 7.
Give me the ball then.
Brock Berlin over the middle. Had Quadrant Hill open, but he had to throw it so quickly. He hit him in the ankles with it. And that will bring up a 3rd down and 7.
Hey Bob. Yes, when you're throwing in this kind of rain, he's got a glove on. The last time Brock threw that pass, he had that man wide open. It almost looked like he pushed it a little bit, trying to guide it too much.
Well, when the ball is wet, you can never tell for sure how it's going to react. Sometimes it's wetter than others. But wearing a glove is good, I believe, because you can get some kind of consistency just having the glove on, some kind of traction with the football.
Florida State might come with a blitz here. They're showing it. On the ground is Payton. That's the first time Miami's run on a 3rd down situation, and he got the first. 8-yard pickup for Jarrett Payton.
Nice call, Rob Chudzinski, the offensive coordinator, mixing it up. Like the call.
Jarrett Payton out of Arlington, Illinois. Most of you know the son of Walter and Connie Payton. His late dad also wore number 34 as, for a long time, the all-time leading rusher in NFL history for the Chicago Bears. And he is a good football player. But as Bob said, always sitting behind #1 draft picks. Today he's getting his chance. Berlin on 1st down, trying to go to the end zone. There was some bumping down there between B.J. Ward and Jason Gathers, and it's incomplete.
Berlin does the smart thing, and that is throw it, don't take the sack, and if they are covered, just throw it away. Throw it to a safe spot, and that's what he did.
He's done great in the red zone this year, throwing the football with a couple touchdowns. He has had one picked off.
He's done well throwing, but they have not got the ball in the end zone. coming into the ball game. Miami's only had 9 touchdowns in 21 trips. They've been in there 3 times today and haven't scored.
10th play of this drive. They still only lead 6-0, and they've had the ball all day. At the 19, Florida State may have jumped. The ball is loose, scooped up by the Seminoles. I do see a flag, however. Travis Johnson has the football, but let's hold the phone. It's going to be against Florida State, and it is offside. Somebody jumped in that neutral zone.
It was the defensive end on the left side, I believe.
Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, giving somebody an earful. There you see the movement right into the neutral zone, and the snap came, and then the drop came from Gathers, but that was academic at that point.
Is that the first carry for Gathers?
Yes.
Today?
Yep.
Gathers normally a wide receiver.
They just tried to throw to him a couple of plays ago, but that's the first time he's carried it.
Yep.
Jarrett Payton comes back in. He's been the most dependable back. That's without a doubt. You expected that. He's back in there. The ball now at the 14-yard line. 2nd down and 5. Parrish in motion. Brock Berlin. Plenty of time. Oh, Parrish is polarized by Stanford Samuels. You felt that one up here.
You saw it coming.
Oh, boy.
That could wake up this Florida State team right there.
It just woke up their crowd. It almost put Roscoe Parrish to sleep, though.
This is the fault of the quarterback. You saw it was a zone coverage, and you can't throw it that far out there because you know the corner on that side is just sitting out there waiting for somebody to come into his area.
Bob and Brad, I've been there before, playing against the Cleveland Browns. Bradshaw threw one of those passes. That was the hardest lick I've ever had in my entire career. The defensive back was standing over me saying, we killed him, he's out of the ball game. Somehow got up, went back to the huddle, got in the huddle. Franco looked at me and said, Swanee, are you okay? I said, oh man, I can't run. Get me off this field. Right now, this man is just hurting very, very badly.
Bradshaw did that to you on purpose, by the way.
No, he didn't. I'll never believe that.
Okay. Roscoe Parrish still down. Roscoe did what Swanee talked about. He tried to get back to the huddle. He got as far as the hash mark, and he went down again. Stanford Samuels, who's one of the Miami natives on this Florida State team, just put on one of the hits of the year.
Take a look at it right here. Here's Parrish. He's going to come down, and he's going to come all the way over here. This corner is going to be in zone coverage, and he's going to see it coming the whole way. Corner at the bottom just lets him go. Now, when we mean by zone coverage, here's a linebacker here, and a linebacker there. He says, wait till you get over here, and I'm going to hit you.
And right now, the sophomore being helped off the field. What a lick. His teammates applauding him as he comes off. And now the eruption for the Florida State defense that has retaken the field, and that's the guy that put the hit on. And now that all the water has cleared, and the only thing not clear is Roscoe Parrish cobwebs, it's 3rd down.
Well, that defensive play right there may have turned the whole game around for the Seminoles.
Winslow will go out as a wide receiver to the top of your screen on a 3rd and 5 at the Noles 14. Berlin.
Screen.
The screen pass to Payton down the sideline. Jarrett Payton, touchdown.
Great call.
14 yards. Jarrett Payton in the end zone. Miami leads 12-0.
You put your big target Winslow, who everybody's going to know where he is, out to the right side. They double cover him, and then you screen to that side.
Jarrett Payton, his first start, and a 14-yard touchdown catch.
That silenced this crowd real quick.
Did it ever. What a way to come back from a big kill shot by the defense, so the crowd got into it. A huge third down, and Jarrett Payton making that number 34 of his daddy's look pretty good to the end zone for the score. We've got a timeout before the extra point. 12-0 Canes, 11:26 till halftime. The timeout for Miami. They send out their quarterback and wide receivers. They'll go for 2 here. So far, that's what they've done on 2-point conversions this year. Berlin in the gun. Flares it out. Could have been caught. Kevin Bird couldn't quite get it. Somebody flashed in front of him. I think it was B.J. Ward. Let's go back to the touchdown, Bob.
Well, what we're talking about was Kellen Winslow was up flanked out, normally a tight end, to the top of the screen. Watch when he comes to the inside, the double coverage, and the 2 guys that he's going to bring with him. Releases to the inside. Now you see the 2 guys right here that take him. Now if you throw the screen, you go ahead and throw the screen, you got 1 guy left out there. Here's a screen play, sets it up. Winslow comes inside, attracts all the attention. Myers and Rodriguez, the offensive lineman, out in front of Payton. That's just an excellent call.
And the 3 of us had a function last night, and Swanee, you made a great point as you see Parrish being taken off, guy that took the big hit before the third down. And Swanee, sometimes you can be the most dangerous guy in the field and not catch the ball.
That's correct. We were talking about Kellen Winslow and how well he was playing, but there's no stat for a guy who's double covered, draws it away, and opens up the field for a touchdown for somebody else. By the way, Parrish goes off the field. They said his stomach hurts, his chest hurts. They're going to take him in and evaluate him, and they think he's going to be okay.
My chest hurts just watching it.
Yeah, me too. My head hurts.
So our score is 12-0 now. And our Chevrolet scoring drive, that's the longest movement of the day by either team. 75 yards, 11 plays in about 3.5 minutes. A couple big third downs in there. A 3rd and 7 they ran for 8, and a 3rd and 5 they got a 14-yard touchdown pass. And now in the kick return out to the 33, almost the 34-yard line is Antonio Cromartie. And with a 12-0 score here, let's find out what's going on elsewhere. Here's John in New York.
Well, you guys have Bobby Bowden losing. How's his son Tommy doing? Clemson against Virginia. Charlie Whitehurst, 19 yards to Derek Hamilton for the touchdown. So it's not all bad for the Bowdens. And Terry, by the way, hasn't lost for years. 10-0.
Terry, he's undefeated. That's right. Terry and John and Craig will be coming up at halftime with all the scores and highlights from the other games here. We've got 11:20 remaining in the second quarter. And Florida State, 1 pass play from Chris Ricks to Crefonzo Thorpe is about all they have to show for their resume today on offense.
Their offense has not done much.
Over the middle, this one complete. Dominic Robinson. Robinson's got good moves, cuts outside, and got the first down. They like getting the ball in this guy's hands.
Both offenses have wide receivers that can make big plays. You just get them the football.
There's the numbers on Dominic. When he came in here, he was a defensive back, moved to wide receiver. And a first down at the 45.
This is the 5th possession for Florida State offensively.
Still no points. Chris Ricks was intercepted the last time they had the ball. Here he pulls it down and will go down. Sacked. Baraka Atkins has another one. He leads the team now with 5 on the season. Baraka missed the game last week against West Virginia with an ankle injury. This time he collapsed that pocket and hauls in Chris Ricks.
Decision making, that's the thing that quarterbacks have to do more than anything else. Whether or not to throw the ball down the middle of the field, whether or not to eject the pocket, whether and where to go and what to do with the football.
So now with a loss, it's 2nd down and 16. Ricks, straight drop-off play action, going deep for Crefonzo Thorpe, and incomplete. Covered pretty well out there by Kelly Jennings. Thorpe tried to adjust his jump and try to go up for it at the last moment.
I like that matchup. That's the same matchup that they had going the other way when Thorpe caught the long pass from Ricks.
So a 3rd down and long coming up for Florida State as we're under 10.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. You don't want to be 8 yards or more every time you're in third down. And that's what Florida State has seen today. Rick's in trouble again, trying to scramble out, and the ball is loose. He fumbles it. Miami's got it. Thomas Carroll this time. Much like the problems that Chris Ricks had against Notre Dame and Miami last year, they're resurfacing right now.
That's the third turnover for the Seminoles, and they've had a punt block. When you take off and running, you got to make a decision to secure the football, protect the ball.
Santonio Thomas is the guy that forced it out.
Miami came into the game with 14 takeaways. They're up to 17. That's setting up your offense in great field position. This is the fourth time Miami has started in Florida State territory.
They've run 29 plays already in Noles territory, including this one at the 44-yard line. Payton, who had the touchdown the last time he touched it, gets about a yard here. For Florida State, 3 straight turnovers on 3 straight possessions. That's not how you beat the number 2 team in the country.
You know, a little bit of it belongs to the Seminole offense. Ricks has got to protect the football. But a lot of it is also that Miami defense that's forcing him not to go where he wants to go initially and then change his plans. But you just have to hold on to the ball running it and be careful when you throw it.
2nd down and 9. Moss back in at the tailback spot for the Canes. They fake it to him, and Berlin comes up throwing, complete to Hill, the fullback. And Hill got about 3 to the 45. Not only does it take Florida State's offense off the field and any chance to score, you kind of wonder what it does to the mind of the Seminoles defense. They're saying, fellas, we're out there the whole game, and don't give it back to these guys.
Well, the one thing that Mickey Andrews does do is substitute a lot defensively. He had his second line, a lot of his second line players in the second possession. So he plays a lot of guys. So they're out there on the field a lot, but they're spreading it around.
Expect to spread it around here. Winslow's the slot man, 4 receiver grouping for Berlin from the shotgun. Berlin stands in, delivers, complete. It is Winslow. They put a hit on him short of the first down, though, and his hat flew off. There's some collisions going on out there, and it's going to bring up 4th down and about 2.
Winslow just going to run a little slant across the field. Now they see he couldn't get it. He didn't get the football and get him. Pope, number 9, was right there to make the hit. As soon as he caught it, he couldn't get his feet down to run.
So Miami will go on 4th down. 4th and 2. Coming in, they were 3 for 3 on the year in 4th down conversions. They pick up the football to dry it off, and the offense will stay out there leading by 12 with 8:15 remaining. There you see Miami's 4th down conversions. Well, this is a spot where you don't expect a freshman kicker to hit a 51-yard field goal in the slop, and if you punt it, who knows, it might go in the end zone.
This is a good call. The defense is playing well. This was a gift. Go for it on 4th down.
You got single coverage on Winslow up there, Bob. Looks like Watkins is looking for help.
He's looking in. He says, don't line up this far. Don't let me out here so far before snap.
Well, the officials now have stopped play again.
They have a problem with the clock?
I think that's what we're going to get, but we'll wait and see.
Yes, guys, the referee just indicated to me that the problem is with the clock up top on the scoreboard, so they're going to make their adjustments and go from there.
We've got 8:23 the way we see it, unless it was the 25-second clock that was the problem, and we're not going to get an announcement, so we'll play it the way it is. They'll wind it now.
Yeah, the game clock doesn't affect the players on the field as much as the 25-second clock.
Okay, they wound it for play, and finally the clock does begin. 4th down.
There's Winslow.
On 4th and 2. Berlin looks over and got it to him easily, and he's knocked out, but not before he got a first down. Boy, we sat there for 2 minutes talking about where he was, and Florida State didn't do anything about it.
If I was a quarterback, I'd say, hey, I want to get it to my main guy. He's out there one-on-one. He just runs a little slant and out. Watch him. He's just going to come to the inside, push off of him, and then go back to the outside. Into the short side of the field for the quarterback. 3-step drop. That's like stealing.
Yep. So now down to the 22-yard line, a pickup of 14, and Kellen's got 60 on 5 catches already. They've thrown it his way 7 times. He's caught 5 of them. Jarrett Payton now. Payton, strong run off the right side and inside the 15-yard line.
That offensive line for Miami doing a really nice job of opening some holes. That time Vernon Carey coming around to lead the way. Here's Carey right here. He's going to come around to the right side. That offensive line to the right side over there. There's Carey, 60. Hill getting a nice block.
Carey about 363 pounds. And a lot of people think that he will be in the top 5 or 10 in the NFL draft next year. 2nd down and 3. Payton again. Lost the ball. Florida State's got it. B.J. Ward scoops it up. So there goes a Miami scoring threat when it looked like they had everything working their way.
That was Darnell Dockett, number 45, beats his man at the line of scrimmage and knocks the ball loose. Dockett, right in the middle of the offensive line, just beats his man, knocks the ball loose. That's a big play for a defensive lineman.
And you see Jarrett Payton at the end of the play just bury his helmet in the sod here. As he lost the handle, down he goes.
That wasn't his fault as much as it was the offensive line. He hardly got the ball before he was hit.
See if Florida State can do anything with it before halftime. 7 minutes just under remaining in the half. Chris Ricks got a man. PK Sam tipped and almost caught it himself, and it could have been intercepted as well. And now the Boo Birds are out. Time now for our Aflac trivia question. Who's thrown for the most career yards in Miami in this series?
Most career yards in Miami versus FSU games.
Okay. And if I could decipher the sentence itself, I'd take a guess. Maybe somebody can help me. Jones, no gain. May have lost. Greg Threet made the stop. Threet starting today for Maurice Sykes, who was injured in the West Virginia game. Brings up 3rd down and long.
Well, we've had 5 turnovers, a blocked punt, and a funny kickoff, I'll put it. That was a turnover that my way of thinking.
Yep.
So we've had like 7 things go on that turn the ball over to the other team.
They on Washington in there to flank Ricks in the shotgun. Ricks wants to throw a screen pass, and Miami blows that up. And now Chris looking to do something with it. Throws in and out of the hands of an intended receiver, Dominic Robinson. Penalty marker down.
Yeah, well, you're going to have an offensive lineman downfield if it was a screen.
And that's the call.
Miami will
decline that,
decline it and move on. Yeah.
Yep. They'll get the ball back with quite a bit of time left.
An eligible receiver downfield against the offense. Penalties declined. 4th down.
So that brings out the punting unit. And remember, Jesse Stein has already had 1 stuffed today. The most hated sound in college football, the double thud.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, the punt is the single biggest play in college football.
This time he gets it off.
Great kick.
Antrell Roll will field it and broke 1 tackle. He won't get away from the rest of the group, though. Only about a yard of a return of a 37-yard punt. 5:55 remaining till halftime. Miami leads Florida State 12-0. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. And Chevy Silverado, it is the right truck. The Hardy Souls at Doak Campbell Stadium on a rainy day in Tallahassee, where their team so far is trailing 12-0 to second-ranked Miami. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ABC crew trying to stay dry at Doak Campbell. 47th renewal of this in-state rivalry, and Miami's got the best of it so far. Brock Berlin will work from the shotgun from his own 42-yard line, and an inside handoff to Jared Payton, and Payton got to about the 44. Sam McGrew made the tackle there.
You mentioned Miami's had the best of it. They've started, their average starting position is almost the 50-yard line. They're 49. Well, in fact, it's a 49-yard line of Florida State.
They're putting it in attack mode here. They're not sitting on a 12-point lead. Here comes a blitz. Berlin waits, man clears, and went right through Moss's hands.
He may have been thinking about Parrish when he caught that ball, because he was coming across the field similar to what Parrish did and the hit that he took.
Sonoris Moss, a little brother. Similar builds, though, of Santana Moss, who starred here at Miami. And that one went right through his hands.
Guys, when you get in situations like this, ball's a little heavier, wet, you're not sure about it, you got to use your body a little bit more to catch those kinds of passes. You can't just rely on your hands to reach out and grab them. You got to protect the ball, bring it to the body.
Let's see if Miami protects the ball here on 3rd down and 8. Blitz again coming. Berlin down the middle, completes this one. It's about a half-yard short of the first down, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be short.
Kellen Winslow again is the guy that caught it. Pressure came on the blitz from Kendall Pope. Larry Coker figures he has a decision to make here, but the officials are going to make sure they'll bring out the chains.
Yeah, Larry's going to go on and take a look himself.
Looks like the length of the football may be too short of the first down from where we look at it. Almost 3 footballs. Here comes the punting team.
Miami has only punted 1 time today. That was on their first possession.
That's Brian Monroe, and he's a freshman. 41-yarder the first time. Let's see if Florida State would try to put some pressure on him. B.J. Ward's the kind of guy that blocks kicks. They don't get near him, though. He hangs it up for Robinson. He'll have to take a fair catch call and makes a sliding catch at about the 12-yard line. Florida State 4:51 till halftime. They'll have the ball back. They trail Miami 12-0. You can't let the number 2 team in the country have a short field every time they touch it.
That's what Miami has had.
And again, Florida State buried at its own 13 here. A reline as Rick's audibles for Florida State. They'll keep it on the ground with Greg Jones, who's done nothing today and won't do anything on this play. Orrin Harris, the inside tackle, made the stop. Speaking of guys that are working hard all day long, John Saunders, Terry Bowden, and Craig James will have all the scores and highlights from around the country on the Valvoline halftime show coming up in about 5 minutes.
Partner, how many rushing yards do you think Florida State's got?
I'd say none.
I'd say minus 13.
Minus 13. No, that's not good.
Huh?
That's not good.
Not after last year when they ran for nearly 300.
And 189 of it was Greg Jones alone, and now we got one of the linemen down.
I think the center is down. There's Frady, the true freshman, taking some snaps on the sideline.
There's what Bob was talking about, minus 13.
Here go, John.
So John Frady, who's a freshman, and they're bringing out the cart. That's not a good sign. Castillo has been battling a bad ankle for a long, long time, and it might have just given out on him. We'll check when we come back. John Frady, the freshman, comes in for David Castillo, who was taken off on a cart to the Florida State locker room. So now you got a freshman center playing against Vince Wilfork and Orrin Harris. That's not a good sign either sometimes. Second down and 11 from the 11.
We're talking to Bobby Bowden just yesterday, and he said one of his big concerns was Castillo, the center.
And it came to pass, and that pass is completed. Castillo's had a bad ankle really all season long, and the doctors at one point wanted to operate on that ankle, and David said, I want to play, and Ed has been heavily taped, and he's been struggling through even practices at times. So that looked like the part of the body that gave out on him, and we'll wish him the best, and hopefully he can come back this year. Or I doubt this game, though, that's for sure. 3rd and 5. Florida State under 4 minutes in the half. And again, Chris Ricks changing up a lot of things, or at least giving that impression. Greg Jones trying to find running room. Finally, the big fella bulls his way for a first down. Finally, number 6 got that body lean going, got 8 yards, and it's first down Seminoles. And now John Vilma, who made the tackle, and Alfonso Marshall, who was in on the stop. Marshall slow getting up.
You know, Brad, the whole first half has been all Miami. There hasn't been many highlights for Florida State, but they're only down 12 points.
Just 2 plays.
I mean, if they score 1 touchdown, they're 5 points down going into halftime.
Greg Jones has 7 yards on 6 carries. He'd been negative yardage until there. Now it's Ricks going up for Thorpe, and it's intercepted near midfield. Sean Taylor's got another one.
Who else?
Taylor weaving his way back inside the 20. He might score. Taylor, touchdown! 48 yards, Sean Taylor for the score.
You just saw the best free safety in America right there pick off a throw that shouldn't have been made.
He and Stu Schweigert at Purdue, I think none of us would argue they're the 2 best around. And this guy, he'll not only hit you, he's got great wheels, and he showed it on that weaving run for the touchdown.
The ball is wet. I know it's tough to throw. You're trying to throw a deep ball down the sideline. The wind is blowing. These aren't easy conditions, but you've got to take care of the ball.
Petty's extra point is good. Now it's all Miami. Just when Florida State had hoped they could get something out of this offensive drive, Sean Taylor with the interception has made it 19-0.
That's his 6th interception of the year, his 2nd return for a touchdown.
His 2nd pick of the day. Here it is.
Ricks is going to try and throw a deep ball down the sideline. He couldn't step up, and here he is right here. I mean, it was badly underthrown. It's wet, it's slippery, it's windy, and you had people in the pocket where you couldn't step up. Sean Taylor was a running back in high school. I mean, yeah, in high school, so he knows what to do with it once he gets it.
Well, Bob and Brad, I go back to what Larry Coker told me during pregame warm-ups. The rain is not going to dictate to you that you necessarily don't throw the football, but just how you throw it. Those kinds of passes today are just not high percentage passes. Too many things can go wrong, as you said.
And Larry Coker on his defense's touchdown. That's the 8th time they've scored a touchdown on something other than offense this year. And remember, they blocked a punt that led to a field goal earlier, so tack on some more points.
Non-offensive touchdowns. Miami has led that category the last 4 years.
And now the Canes can smell blood in the water as they bury Cromartie on the kick return. And the long day for Florida State's about to get a lot longer unless they get something going in the second half. 19-0 Miami.
Last week against West Virginia on Thursday night was the first time they didn't get a non-offensive touchdown, a defensive score, or a kick return or a punt return for a score.
Season high 4 turnovers already for Florida State. The celebrating in the crowd going on from the folks from South Florida. The north end of the gang's not having a very good day. Chris Ricks from the shotgun. Already intercepted a couple times today. This one's tipped. Almost picked off again. Santonio Thomas, you know the guy that would have had the interception? There he is. Thomas tipped it. Taylor almost picked it. There's a look at the 9 offensive touchdowns. And since '99, nobody does it better than these guys.
They just defensively, they attack, they try to intercept, pick up fumbles, special teams.
Inside handoff. One of the better runs of the day. This one's Leon Washington. Out to about the 30. There's been very little on the ground today for Florida State.
I think Bobby Bowden's thinking before this was, this is not a type of day, the field being what it is for these little scatbacks, Washington and Booker. It's more for the big guy, Greg Jones. But now I think being down what he is, I think he says, hey, put the little guys in. Maybe we can get a big play.
See if they can make something happen. 3rd down and 2. Straight ahead, the fullback. And I think he got the 1st down. Looks like it. B.J. Dean, the fullback. And that should move the sticks. It will, with 2 minutes 17 seconds remaining in the half. Coming up tomorrow at 8/7 Central on a new 10-8 for this rookie and his training officer. Every day's training day. 10-8 officers on duty, part of Sunday's Best. ABC tomorrow at 8/7 Central. Here's Washington again, trying to get in some open space. DJ Williams isn't going to let him. He and Vilma drop him at the 35-yard line. And we're under 2 minutes in the half.
It's been a miserable first half for Florida State offensively. 88 yards, total yards on offense, and 48 yards of that came on that one pass play.
They line up without a huddle with 1:40 remaining. There's the total yardage story, all Miami. That doesn't even encompass the return that just gave them another touchdown by Sean Taylor. Ricks over the middle. Tough throw, good catch. Ball was loose, and they're going to say it was caught and down for Dominic Robinson. Antrell Roll was right there with him. That's going to bring up 3rd down and about 2. Oh, they're saying incomplete. I thought he caught it and was down, so it's going to be 3rd and 7. Our Pacific Life game summary with 1:20 remaining in the half, as you might summarize, mostly Florida State's miscues and Miami's good fortune. First fumble scooped up by Will Fork. Then Chris Ricks throwing the interception down the middle to Sean Taylor, the first of his 2. Jarrett Payton on the screen pass from Brock Berlin went 14 yards for the score. And then Sean Taylor with number 2, and this one even prettier because he not only picked it off, he weaved his way about 49 yards through the Florida State offense for Miami's last touchdown.
You know, he was like we said, he was a running back in high school, and he wants the football.
And he wants to do something with it.
Oh, and he sees when you drop back to pass, he's happy because, all right, now I may get an interception here. You may throw the football, and I may get it.
The last time that we were in Miami for the Florida game, we spent quite a bit of time with Sean the day before the game, and he walked into our meeting room, and I know the thing that Swanee said when he left. If he had to play against guys this big as safeties, you wouldn't want to play long. This guy is a chiseled 230. He's 6'3". There isn't an ounce of fat on him, and you just saw what he could do running the ball.
He's bigger than the linebacker right there, DJ Williams.
And speaking of chiseled, if Michelangelo was alive today, okay, the statue would be called Sean, not David.
He'd have the dreadlocks going, too. That'd be a different look. 3rd
I'd like
down.
to see that.
3rd and 7. Chris Ricks, a bad first half, but an open man in Robinson, and he got it to him out at the 46, almost the 47-yard line. Florida State down to 2 timeouts.
If Florida State is to come back in this ball game, it's going to be with Chris Ricks and the receivers making some plays. So you're going to have to take some hits in the pocket and downfield by the receivers.
And his freshman center will snap this thing out of a puddle on the right hash mark on a 1st down from the 46. Ricks flushed from the pocket. Being chased, ball's loose again. Big pileup right in front of the Florida State bench. Still Seminole ball.
Yeah, went out of bounds before anybody recovered it.
Vilma and Williams, the guys that were chasing Chris Ricks.
All right, nobody's open. Scramble around, buy some time. These guys are quick. DJ Williams, a linebacker. Vilma, the other linebacker. They're faster than Ricks. These guys can run. Right there, the ball is knocked loose and then out of bounds.
They're going to call it an incomplete pass. You saw Chris Ricks' arm come forward as the ball came out, so it goes back to the line of scrimmage at the 46, not where the big pileup was at the 40. Second and 10.
Now you're soaking wet. The quarterback, I mean, you're soaking wet anyway, but you got all that mud and dirt. Let's go in at halftime and clean up.
Ricks out in the flat. Leon Washington. And Washington's got it inside the 40.
They need some of that. They need some of that little quickness, some of that shake and bake to make some guys miss and to make some big plays, to get something out of nothing.
Florida State, I guess, is going to call a timeout, even though the clock would stop to move the chains here.
On a day like this, I'd always go in at halftime and change my pants, change my jersey, change my socks, come out dry the second half.
They didn't take a timeout. They want to spike it here, I assume, is what Chris Ricks is going to do. And there's movement on the right side. Ray Willis, the tackle, jumped out of his spot.
Snap. False start. Offense.
False start on the tackle.
Still first down.
The end of the last play. Chris Ricks, who has to scrape himself up. The referee right there with him. Oop, there's a little left hook on Vince Wilfork.
Now, you know, see, we talked about this last night. You can see things, but you can't hear things. There was some conversation going on down there. You know, and all of it isn't made for everybody to hear, I guess.
It was just a little left jab.
Yeah.
Vince barely felt it. Only the second play that Florida State has run in Miami territory right here at the 44. First and 15, 38 seconds, and the clock now winds till halftime. Ricks the throw again, diving attempt by PK Sam, and he caught it. That got back what they lost on the penalty, but the clock's moving. And finally they stop it now with a timeout. Florida State still has one timeout left. 23 seconds remaining. Coming up tomorrow, right after the Women's World Cup Championship, join Mike Tirico for final round action at the Las Vegas Invitational. That's tomorrow at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on ABC. And you can tell by that camera look how wet it is in Tallahassee today. And what a soggy day it's been for the Florida State Seminoles, ranked 5th in the country, unbeaten on their home field. But it's been Miami that's taking care of business. Number 2 Hurricanes, 19-0 leaders.
They're separating. Separation Saturday. They got some good games coming up. Oklahoma and Texas. That'll be a good one.
Wisconsin, Ohio State in Madtown tonight. And you give those Wisconsin fans all day to tailgate.
That'll be an interesting one.
That'll be an interesting one.
Ohio State has played every game at home.
It's time to go on the road.
First road game.
Yep. So second down and 10. 10th play of the Florida State drive, but it really hasn't netted them that much. They would love to get a touchdown before halftime to make this a ball game. Delayed blitz. Ricks got hit as he threw.
Look out.
It's intercepted. No, it's dropped. And it would have been number 3 for Sean Taylor.
Sean Taylor always plays. They play a lot of 2 deep. He always plays to the wide side of the field. That was very similar to the last interception he had. Trying to get it to Thorpe again. The ball was underthrown, and there was Taylor. He could have run that one back.
And it was Vilma that got the hit on Chris Ricks. So now we're down to 16 seconds. He's got Bobby Bowden's win total on the right sweatband. That one's getting soggy too. And Chris on the run. Now decides to pull it down, and he takes a dive, courtesy of Antrell Roll.
Well, this defense of Miami is not rated as highly as Florida State, but they have got every bit of speed and ability that Florida State has got.
You saw the offside call is going to go against Miami, so it'll give Florida State a little closer crack at maybe a long pass here, but it won't give them any time back. And that's what they need more than anything right now. Fonzo Thorpe looks like he's trying to get a kink out after making the adjustment on that last play to try to get to the football, and the mouth guard came out and everything.
Maybe he got poked in the eye or something.
Could be.
I couldn't see that.
Well, third down coming up. That isn't really that important. There's 8 seconds remaining, so as they do put drops in his eye.
Yeah.
Third down's not as important as the 8 seconds. Couple of cracks here for Florida State. They lost the ball again. And that'll do it for the half. They didn't get a chance for 2 plays. They didn't even get a chance for 1 play. Wait a minute. Looks like the referee is trying to say 1 second and trying to bring everybody back. Half the people are in the locker room already.
He's bringing them back.
There is 1 second. 1 second on the clock. 1 second on the.
So there's time for 1 play. And
Charge
everybody's
timeout.
got to come back.
Florida State.
That's Florida State's last time out. And now they'll take a crack at the end zone with 1 more play. I don't know if they'll ever get all of Miami's players back from the locker room. They're trying. They're trying.
Well, they want to go in and just
dry off,
towel off, change jersey, put on some dry shoes. A lot of the players will bring a couple pairs of shoes.
This is the first time for Miami in almost 4 years that they've worn orange pants as part of their uniform. And they're lucky pants so far today.
Yeah, they started out as bright orange. Now they kind of look dirty orange britches.
Yeah, they're a little different color than they were earlier.
This defense is pretty tough to pass against. There's only 1 quarterback in the last 25 games against Miami that has thrown for 200 yards, and that was the West Virginia quarterback last Thursday night, 10 days ago.
Well, here's the last play of the half. 1 more chance for Florida State to do something, trailing 19-0. 4 wide receivers for Chris Ricks, 3 of them to the bottom of your screen, and he rolls that way. Here's the final play. It would take a Hail Mary miracle. He hangs it up there. Jump ball in the end zone, incomplete. Miami was waiting for it and swatted it all the way back to the 10-yard line. So Larry Coker has brought his team to Tallahassee, and his team's got the lead. Here he is with Lynn Swann.
Well, Coach, it took us a little while to get to halftime. First thing, the onside kick that you covered, was it a call play or just a heads-up unit?
It was just a heads-up play. It wasn't called. It was really just a poor kick. The ball was in bounds, and just made a great play by Darnell Jenkins.
We talked before the kickoff of this game about what the rain does. An abbreviated offense and kind of a defensive scheme. How much of your offense are you using right now?
Well, we're using quite a bit of it. We're doing everything we can to try to score. They're a good defensive football team, and yards come hard. We know that. We've had some drop passes, I think, with a wet ball, but it's going to be wet. It's going to be slick on both sides, and we've got to handle it.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
All right, halftime. Miami in front, trying to continue their regular season unbeaten string, trying to get it to 38 games. They lead 19-0 as we join John, Terry, and Craig at Times Square Stadium in New York. Guys.
All right. Presented by ADT.
So far, the spotlight's been on Miami, the number 2 team in the country, trying to stretch their regular season winning streak to 38 games. And they're doing a pretty good job of it at halftime, 19-0 here in Tallahassee. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler and Bob Greasy. Partner, the Noles are in a hole. What are they going to do to get out of it?
I've been in some games like this, and you got to be very careful that the momentum doesn't change. Miami says, all right, we come in, we were 7-point underdogs. I'm sure Larry Coker used that in motivating them. They've got to play the second half. Miami just can't play one half, and Florida State can say, hey, as bad as we've played, we're only 19 points down. Let's just score a touchdown. We'll be down 12. let's get back into the game. There is another half to play, and they need to make sure that Florida State doesn't win the second half, and they can win it very big.
The problem they're going to have is trying to come back in these weather conditions, and they're getting worse, not better.
They are, but that works both ways. Miami can drop the ball. Florida State can intercept some balls like Miami's.
Yeah.
The whole thing just works the other way. And the one common thing you got to remember is there's a lot of speed on this field. There's a lot of players that can make big plays both for Florida State and Miami.
More than one person in the press box area at halftime had the same comment, and they were Florida State fans, and they said if our defense doesn't score, we might not have a chance to win, and that could be very true. But the weather continues to be a factor. We had hoped that it was going to clear up. In fact, at halftime was probably the most intense rain that we've had. And when you look at the field now, it's getting pretty shiny. And from, as we view it, the right hash mark to the Florida State sideline is very, very wet. There you can see all the wet spots and the shiny spots on this Doak Campbell Stadium field.
Yeah, it does not look good. There has been a lot of rain.
Here's the kick, and again high and short. Cromartie will take it at the 14. And he is dropped immediately at the 24, maybe the 25-yard line as we check in with Lynn.
Well, I talked to Coach Bowden coming out, and he said he told his team, he reminded them that they came back from 14 down against Georgia. He said, remember the Monday night football game with the Colts in Tampa, how the Colts came back? He goes, and just the other day, he said, Michigan came back over Minnesota. He says, we can do those kinds of things. Also, he reminded them that when he talked about the big ball games, he said, special teams and turnovers, we got to eliminate them. He said he's going to dial back the deep passing in the second half because the ball is just slipping out of his quarterback's hand. So there's two intimidators he was most concerned about. One, number 81, Kellen Winslow, and number 26, Sean Taylor.
Boy, they had big halves. Taylor, 2 interceptions, 1 run back for a touchdown, and he almost had a third late in the second quarter. So first down, Florida State to open the third quarter. Jones, no gain, right into a pile of white jerseys as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary in the first half. Statistically, as you look at it, the turnovers a huge factor, 4 of them for Florida State.
Yeah, and they led to 9 points for Miami. And the other thing was the field position. Because of those turnovers, Miami starting on the FSU side of the field.
9 rushing yards for Florida State. David Castillo is actually back in at center right now, and he looked like his day was done when he was carted off earlier. Wilfork comes across the line, and Ricks takes a knee. And there's David with a bad right ankle that's going to need surgery sometime. It's just a matter of time, I guess. And boy, he had it taped heavily before. It looks like a white bowling ball right now.
Yeah. Well, nobody's moving real quickly out there in this slop. So he said, hey, I'll just be as quick as the other guys. Florida State had the ball 8 possessions in the first half. They had 4 turnovers, one of them which led to a touchdown, or was a touchdown.
5 3-and-outs.
And then, 5 3-and-outs, and then one punt blocked.
Not good. 2nd and 5. Greg Jones. They can't get anything going on the ground today. He got about a yard. You mentioned we saw Florida State had 9 yards rushing at halftime. Remember, Greg Jones last year in the first half against Miami, on albeit a better field, had 134 at halftime.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to get something going because you just can't rely on Chris Ricks, the quarterback, to do it all himself. I mean, under these conditions, you're asking too much. I mean, some quarterbacks have huge hands and can throw the ball. I was talking to him yesterday. I've got small hands, and so does he. Neither one of us like to throw a football in the rain.
See if he throws it here. It's going to be an option pitch, and it's fumbled by Washington and scooped up by Miami. Thomas Carroll's got his 2nd fumble recovery of the day. Oh boy, when it goes bad, some days just get worse.
See, now that's on Chris Ricks. When the conditions aren't ideal, you have to make an extra effort to make sure that the pitches are there and everything else. He's going to fake, and then he's going to pitch to Washington. Now Washington is one of the guys that hasn't been practicing the last few weeks because of injury. but he's a guy that's got some shake and bake and get some plays done. But the quarterback's got to make the extra effort to make sure that the pass gets there and the handoffs and the laterals and the pitches get there.
So now Miami with another golden opportunity. Their 5th Florida State turnover at the Noles 11-yard line. Berlin play action. Throws it out in the flat. Quadrin Hill is run out after a pickup of about 3.
This is the 5th time that the Hurricanes have started in Florida State territory, and they had another possession they didn't even need because Taylor ran it in for a touchdown.
Just talking about Castillo, and now again he's limping. I don't know if he's trying to walk it off or if he's heading out completely. Tough kid, but that wheel's just not holding up on that body right now.
Yeah, he came out. He said, I want to come out and give it a go. Let me try it.
2nd down and 7. They can get a first down inside the 1-yard line. On the carry, down to the 6, Jared Payton. And that's where he stops. Payton with 41 yards on the ground right now. And remember, the screen pass was the offensive touchdown for the Canes, a 14-yarder.
Payton has carried the load for Miami, running the ball and catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yep.
He came in with 13 receptions just out of the backfield as a part-time player. So he is a good receiver.
The one he caught, though, in 5 years, his first career touchdown catch. He picked a good day to do it. He looks like he's a little banged up. Darnell Dockett came out of the Florida State lineup injured. And it's 3rd down. Gathers will flank Brock Berlin in the gun. Miami at the 6-yard line of Florida State, and flags fly in before the play. Again, Jack Kramer is our referee.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, it gives the Canes a little more room to work with if they're thinking pass here, because they'll back it up to the 11-yard line.
Well, the thing that they want to make sure is that they at least get 3 points out of this. Berlin is 7 of 8 on 3rd downs, but he's only got 2 of them were for first downs. So he's been taking care of the football, not throwing it where he shouldn't throw it, and make sure that you just come out of this with 3 points.
Alfonso Marshall letting everybody know who he thinks is number 1 as he comes out of the locker room. Draw play, Gathers inside, and Gathers close, but I don't think he got the first down, although it is very close. And now they might go for it, or probably will anyway. They're at about the 1.5-yard line.
They got it right in front of the goalpost in the center of the field.
B.J. Ward, who's had a good game from the secondary, he's shaken up. They're falling like flies right now out there.
Brad, the only thing that's soft out here is the football field. Every hit, everything else has been very hard, very tough in this ball game.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about this field. It's a sand-based field. You look at the measurement for the first down, and they're short by about 1 yard. And there are some pumps attached to this field to drain it, but they haven't used them. And it's been so long since they used them, they're afraid to turn on those pumps because if there's a leak someplace, it's going to suck the sand out of the field.
You hate it when you got a plumbing problem, don't you?
Oh, you do. So all the water that's constantly pouring out of the stands is pouring on the sidelines, but that water's not reaching the field.
John Petty has hit 2 and missed 1. This is another chip shot right in front, as Bob said, from 19 yards out to try to make it 22-0, and he does. So the fumble recovery, as it did in the first half, turns into 3 points. And number 2 Miami stretches its lead over Florida State to 22-0. Bad weather doesn't bother this guy. Sebastian the Ibis, a happy mascot. His team is leading 22-0 on the road. I think he just headbutted our camera. There goes a few $1,000. We'll just charge the University of Miami. Mark Jett to kick. Cromartie will take it on the fly at the 15. And nice return out to about the 37-yard line. Well, the story of the game has been turnovers for Florida State. Lorenzo Booker coming back after a couple weeks off with an injury, fumbled. That led to points. Sean Taylor, an interception on a pass intended for Chris Davis. Then another fumble. This one Thomas Carroll picked up. Then Sean Taylor came up with this one and returned it 49 yards for a touchdown. And then moments ago, trying the pitch out to Leon Washington, and Thomas Carroll had his second fumble recovery from his defensive end spot. That's been the story on a wet field in Tallahassee today, and so far the Seminoles shut out. And 5 turnovers is their season high, and it keeps going up. Fumble again. It almost went up again. Leon Washington saying my fault as he's tapping that number 3.
Ball carrier Leon Washington.
Every player has to adjust to the conditions. The quarterback, the running backs, the offensive line, how you're blocking, the defensive linemen. But some guys are doing it and other guys aren't. You have to concentrate more when you're throwing the ball, when you're carrying it. You have to know that it's wet and it's going to be different. You have to go back to your practices in the bad weather to know how to play in this type of weather.
What Swanee was saying earlier, you got to focus on every play because you never know what play is going to be either a touchdown or a disaster. Ricks on the run. This time he'll keep it, heads to the sideline, gets what he can, and gets out of bounds with a first down.
Smart play by Sean Taylor not to hit him, and then he goes over to say something to him.
Like next time I will hit you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or why did you run out of bounds?
Or he just, you got a get out of jail free card on that one. You know, I'll pass through my neighborhood.
Yeah. Or why don't you throw me another one?
The next time it will not be go collect $200.
The reason I know those things, I've been there. You know, I've been there. I've had days like this in the rain.
Rafonso Thorpe has only 1 catch for Florida State today. That was their longest play of the day, and it didn't lead to any points. 1st and 10, Florida State from the 48. Greg Jones. And Greg trying to drag some guys with him. Tough run. Good effort for 5 yards. But boy, he had to take some bodies with him. Carried Greg Threet.
Brad, one of the other things that shows up in bad weather games is an individual's technique. As you see a player being loaded onto the truck, that's Ward. The technique of the players is important. How you make the cut. If you have bad technique in a sloppy field, you're going to slip. You're going to have all the problems.
They have had some of those today. On a 2nd down. Ricks play fake. Plenty of time. Throws to the sideline, and this was nowhere near the intended receiver. That was Chauncey Stovall.
And it was a good thing that he threw it out of bounds because only 2 men were out on routes. The 2 wide receivers running deep, neither one of them were open.
Changing up personnel, the Seminoles bring in Lorenzo Booker, who we just showed you on that fumble in the first half. I believe this is the first snap he's seen since that fumble. And he comes in, and as you see, everybody's a receiver right now with an empty backfield.
Spread out, 3 on one side, 2 on the other.
Chris Ricks on 3rd and 5. Waits and fires and almost intercepted by Sean Taylor.
Well, the recovery speed of Sean Taylor, not only to get to the receiver, but to get around him and try to intercept the ball. Just amazing.
Look at the numbers on him, and we still got a lot of football left. And he has dropped 2.
He's dropped 2. If he would have picked that one off,
he might have been gone on that one,
yeah.
too. Jesse Stein will punt, so Florida State gets into Miami territory, and that's about it. Antrell Roll waiting on it for the Canes. Stein would prefer not to let him return this at all. But he's going to try from the 7. Couple of moves got him out to about the 13-yard line. So Miami, ranked 2nd in the country, will take over. They're all 2s. Number 2 up 22-0. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Bowflex, the only home gym with real power rod technology. Capital One, what's in your wallet? And Chevy Silverado, it's the right truck. Not a lot to cheer about for Florida State so far today. They trailed 22-0 to the number 2 team in the country, and Miami's got it back. at its own 13-yard line.
And the thing Florida State needs is the defense to step up, take it away, and score a touchdown. They need a fumble. They need an interception, something to turn this to help their offense.
They get everybody up close to the line of scrimmage. Jarrett Payton runs right through it, though. Payton out to the 20-yard line, a pickup of 7. We'll pick up John in New York.
And the day keeps getting worse for the Bowdens on this Taco Bell update. Virginia and Clemson, Matt Schaub, 5 yards to Patrick Estes. They made it 14-10. They scored 17 consecutive points and now lead 17-10.
John, I don't know if I'd sit next to Terry up there in the studio. Might be catching. 2nd down and 3. Straight ahead again. 1st down run out to the 26. Jarrett Payton again. Jarrett Payton just bulling his way along at his first start in for Frank Gore.
Yeah,
injured his knee last week.
Excuse me, Brad. Just a nice job the offensive line was doing. I just noticed Rodriguez, the center, getting a nice block on that last one on Augustin, Carey, and Winston, Myers. Carlos Joseph, the right tackle, doing a nice job. The offensive line coach, Art Keogh, taking a little criticism this week. He fired back. He says, our guys are playing well.
Payton again with both arms around the football. He fumbled it in the first half. He fumbled one last week that looked like it might have cost him the West Virginia game. It didn't, and he's holding on to it here in the second half. Tomorrow, ABC puts on Sunday's best with a new practice. The critics call it good, provocative television. This week, the Emmy-winning cast is joined by guest star Sharon Stone and Chris O'Donnell. An all-new practice tomorrow at 10/9 Central on ABC.
Yeah, right. I like that.
I know you do. You're a practice guy.
I'm one of those critics. I like that show.
You like to practice. I like to play.
If you can't practice, you can't play.
That's right. That's true. If you don't do one, you shouldn't do the other.
Mickey Andrews, favorite save.
2nd and 7, Berlin, and intercepted by Florida State. Pat Watkins, and he's got
Smith.
Leroy Smith's got one.
Trying to hit Sonoris Moss on the top of the screen. He just runs a poor route. Watch Smith now. He sees him cut to the inside, and he just gets there.
Nice catch.
That's the thing that Florida State needs. They need a little help from their defense to get this thing going. He was thrown to the inside. Sonoris Moss, he's probably the 4th or 5th receiver. I don't know how many throws on that route that Berlin has made over the last few months. I mean, the timing may not have been there, or it may have slipped.
At the 38, and a fumble, and Ricks got on top of it. Now they're having trouble with the center exchange because, remember, Frady's in there, not Castillo.
Well, and you can't take anything for granted. When the field is like this and the ball is wet, and especially when you have a new center in there. Yeah, it got up. It just slipped out. You can't take anything for granted. You got to double check everything.
Only a 2-yard loss. 2nd and 12. And now the fans are getting restless just with the audibles, or what appear to be audibles called by Florida State. Ricks, quick drop, lofts one for Thorpe, and he went and got it. Nope, couldn't hold it. Kelly Jennings. And that's just a fade that you normally use down by the end zone. They try to use on the sideline, as Thorpe still hasn't caught a ball since early in the game.
Where they're trying to get the ball to is their receivers, the big play guys, as we mentioned. Thorpe with a great elevation. Doesn't hold on to it.
Kelly Jennings got a hand in there.
Yeah, but that's where Miami is strong. They're playing the 2-deep zone, and you're really double covering the outside guys. It's tough when you don't have a dry football.
And it's still 3rd and long, as it's been most of the day. Ricks has a man open. Got him. No.
Oh, he dropped it.
Robinson dropped it. He got hit at about the 5, and the ball squirted out.
Somebody's got to make a play. Ricks puts it on the money, and Robinson just drops it. He's going to come in motion. Now he goes straight down the field. He's wide open.
Guess who makes the hit to make sure he doesn't catch it?
I think they all are looking for Sean Taylor. I think they've seen what he has done in the past, and they're kind of getting a little light-footed. He knew he had a good throw. He knew he had a guy open. No good.
And instead they have to give it up, and it's going to be down at the 1. Nice job on the punt coverage by Pat Watkins. Good kick by Stein, and Miami buried deep in their own territory, but they lead 22-0. Let's find out what else is going on. We check in with John in New York.
In the Big Ten, Michigan State leading Illinois, and Jeff Smoker, a big reason why. Rolls out to his right, firing all the way, 21 yards to Aaron Alexander. Touchdown, and Michigan State now up 35-7 on the Illini.
Spartans are showing a little gumption, aren't they?
Yes, they are. That Big Ten is going to be an interesting battle.
Well, this might be Florida State's best opportunity to score. They got Miami setting up almost in their own end zone. They made the play that Bob said they needed with the interception a few moments ago, but they didn't get any points out of it.
Well, they need to do more. Defensively, they need to do it again.
Brock Berlin in his own end zone to take the snap, and he'll try to sneak it out. And he does a pretty good job of sneaking it out of there to the 5-yard line.
And that's a nice call. Instead of turning and giving it to somebody, having maybe a missed handoff to one of your backs or one of them slipping, just take it yourself and get some yardage. I'd be surprised if Miami threw the ball downfield in this situation because of the wetness of the ball. Receivers may slip, not good footage. Defensive backs may pick it off and have a short run in.
You always figure if they do throw it that it'd be in the direction of number 81 with those vacuum hands of Winslow. On second down, a long stretch play to Payton. Payton hurdles one man, and he's brought down on a good tackle by Boulware.
Boulware's a guy that can make a play for you. He's scored 3 touchdowns in his career, 2 on fumble returns and 1 on an interception.
Comes out holding his forehead after making that hit. One of the captains of this team, a senior out of Columbia, South Carolina. And he's one of the seniors that have never beaten Miami. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen today unless things start to turn in the next 20 minutes. Crowd is trying. They're trying.
There's Winslow right there
to get their Seminoles into this. On 3rd and 4. Berlin goes the other way. It's intercepted. Picked off by Rufus Brown.
That surprises me.
Flag down. Holding against Miami will be declined, and Rufus Brown has the 2nd interception for Florida State in about the last 5 minutes.
When you throw this slant, you better be sure that you don't throw it to the defensive back. He's sitting to the inside. You got to throw it behind him. If anything, make sure that the defensive back doesn't get it.
As a receiver, Bob, I hate this when it happens. The receiver's got the route call. Rufus Brown just reads it the whole way.
Yeah. He
breaks on it, and he's in better position. There's nothing the wide receiver can do except turn into a defensive back and try and strip him of the ball.
Swanee, how about a slant and up right there?
Well, right there would be ideal.
Oh, yes.
Just take a chance.
Yes.
3 wideouts for Ricks. They've got an eye backfield in there. Willie Reed split out as a wide receiver now after having played some tailback this year. Ricks wants to go that way to the end zone. Reed got it. Touchdown.
Here we go.
Here we go. Willie Reed finally gets the ball in the end zone for Florida State.
Well, they put somebody out there that could catch it. They've had guys open. Willie Reed spent most of the year at running back, and now he's back at a receiver, and he says, let me do it. I can catch it.
And he did. And Xavier Betier in for the point after. The extra point is good. First time Florida State has scored following 4 Miami turnovers now. So Rufus Brown's interception becomes a touchdown.
Just single coverage.
And Bob, I know you like this as a quarterback. Finally a receiver who knows it's going to be tough to make a catch, and he sells out his body to focus in on the ball to make the grab, using his hands, his body, everything else. He doesn't care if he's going to get hit. He doesn't care if his body's going to slam to the ground. The most important thing right now, hold on to the ball.
And the quarterback put the ball out there in an area that gave him a chance to make a play. The defensive back, 31, Sharp, he was just floundering around out there while the other guy made the catch.
A one-play drive, 18 yards, following the Rufus Brown interception. So Florida State back in the hunt. And Bethia will kick.
Games like this, you're going to make some mistakes. Quarterback who has the ball in his hand, he's going to make some mistakes. The thing he has to do is have a short memory, go out and make some plays to win the ball game.
Bethia to kick. Javier got into it pretty good. Taken at the 1-yard line by Hester. Hester popped, trying to bounce it outside, and Florida State won't let him. So Miami will work from inside its own 20 after we check in with John in New York.
Fred, D'Angelo Hall's having a pretty good day for Virginia Tech. 2 punt returns for a touchdown. Then here, he takes the handoff, fights out of a couple of tackles, goes 24 yards, his 3rd touchdown of the day, and 179 all-purpose yards, 51-7.
Number 4 in a romp. Number 5 has finally scored against number 2. And the Seminole Nation is back into it. First down, Miami. Payton stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Darnell Dockett was the first one there.
Just looking at these pictures and all the way the players are jumping around, it's hard to tell who's ahead and who's behind.
Good point.
The emotions in a college game turn so quickly.
Miami only 7 points off the 4 turnovers, whereas the Hurricanes utilize Florida State's miscues much better. Right now, the Noles would like to come up with another one. Payton straight up the middle. Payton into the secondary. Best run of the day for Jared Payton.
That is huge.
And you heard the noise immediately dissipate. That is a way you quiet the crowd.
Watch the offensive line open up this hole right up the middle. Look at this hole it's got in here. You got a hole right there. Great blocking by that Miami offensive line. Augustin, the middle linebacker, nowhere to be seen.
Jared Payton's got 71 yards on the ground. He'll get another carry. Whoa, there's a form tackle from Allen Augustin.
There you go. He'd been getting blocked on those plays up the middle. He got tired of that.
Under 3.5 minutes, 3rd quarter, 22-7, Miami leads. At the conclusion of our game today, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. 2nd down and a long 8 for the Canes. Again, the Noles showing blitz. They back out of it. It's a draw play to Payton, and Payton, here he goes again. Out across the 40 to the 42. Maybe on his way to a 100-yard day is Jared Payton.
Yeah, I just can't say enough. Art Keel, the offensive line coach, has got this offensive line rolling. Nice blocking up front. The linebackers step in. They fake like it's going to be a blitz. They're trying to mess with the offensive line's minds. Says, do you block me or do you not? They jump out. The offensive line adjusts, hold the blocks, and get downfield. Good job.
83 on the ground, 44 this half for Jared. He gets a breather. Berlin, play action, wants it all. Lays it out there and overshot Ryan Moore by about a yard. Stanford Samuels was back there covering.
Yeah, they don't need to pick on Samuels. They need to pick on Brown, the guy that intercepted He's jumping all over those routes over there.
That'll make it 2nd down and 10. Clock stopped with 2:28. And all of a sudden, a big gust of wind just came through Doak Campbell Stadium. The rain, Swanee, for the most part, it's not raining as hard, is it?
It's not raining hard right now. It's a light rain. It's just the wind is picked up, and it's like pelting the little raindrops on people's faces.
2nd and 10. Winslow hasn't caught a pass yet this half. Here's a run from Gathers, and Gathers brought down by Jerome Carter. This is going to bring up a big 3rd down for both teams right now. It's going to be a long yardage situation. Florida State knows they need it back. Brock Berlin knows he's got to keep the clock moving, the chains moving, and hold on to a 15-point lead. There's his 3rd down passing, and that's the way he's kind of been this year. And pretty effective with his 3rd down throws. Came in at over 70%. Has had a couple interceptions in 3rd down.
Now you got to be careful, because you know the defense is going to be aggressive. So if you're going to run a slant, you got to be careful.
3rd and 8. Here's his pass. It's short to Winslow on the run. He'll have a 1st down and more. Still on his feet. Broken tackle at the 40. Winslow down the sideline. The ball is loose. Florida State trying to get it. Did they get there? They did. Bryant McFadden's got it. An unbelievable catch and run by Winslow, but he put it on the ground.
You just tried to do a little bit too much. This is a nice call. Downfield receivers, you hit your superstar coming across the field. He breaks 2 tackles. Now he's going to run over a safety right here. And then Pope, number 9, comes and knocks the ball loose.
Kendall Pope forced a fumble. Bryant McFadden recovers. Florida State's got it back. They trail 22-7, but they'll be on offense when we come back. Kellen Winslow blue right now. McFadden with a fumble recovery after a great catch and run by Winslow. Pope knocked it out. And now Florida State with a fumble recovery takes over at the 17-yard line. Booker back in there at tailback. They fake it to him. They fake the end around. Rick still holding. And then just lofts one way out of bounds.
Nobody buying. He didn't have anybody open. It was a reverse pass and nobody open. The defense for Florida State doing their job. They've taken it away. The last 3 possessions for Miami have been turnovers. Florida State has scored on the 2nd one. This is the 3rd one.
With 1:21 remaining in the 3rd quarter, Chris Ricks, who had a tough game last year, 8 out of 19 against the Noles, is 9 of 25. So very similar statistics to a year ago. He'll work from the shotgun here on a 2nd and 10. Open man is PK Sam. Sam wheels and got out to the 31-yard line.
Good pitch and catch there.
14-yard pickup. They'll move the chains, and we'll probably move under a minute before the next snap. Remaining 3rd quarter.
Good pass protection. Good throw.
There's the numbers now on Chris. The touchdown pass was to Willie Reed. Both interceptions were to Sean Taylor. Willie Reed is back in there as a receiver. Ricks sets up in a puddle. Floats it out to PK Sam. Close to another 1st down. Out to the 39-yard line. So back-to-back tosses to PK, a 14 and 9. And Florida State's got a little bit of something working here. Chris Ricks has been trying to get in a groove all day. I don't know if you'll ever get in a groove in this sloppy mess, but yeah, he's looking a little better.
Well, you know, sometimes you have to hit bottom before you can rise to the top.
We saw Brock Berlin do that.
Exactly.
Against Florida.
And you're seeing a little bit of that starting in Chris Ricks right here.
2nd down and a yard. Miami thought about a blitz, and straight up the gut they go, and it's a 1st down run for James Coleman. And that's going to bring the 1st quarter to a close. So Florida State still trailing by 15. but they do have some momentum. Is it enough momentum that we can say it's changed into Garnet jerseys? We don't know, but we played 3 quarters in the 47th battle between the Noles and the Canes, and the Hurricanes lead at the end of 3, 22-7. You're watching the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT. Our presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
This could be for a national championship. It's up. Gaston to the right. Gaston to the right. Gaston to the right. Bobby Bowden wonders. My Lord me.
For the win. The kick on the way. He missed it. Wide left. And if you're a Miami fan, you know over the course of this series that if there was a song involved about Florida State, it would be "I Get a Kick Out of You." 3 wide lefts, 3 wide rights, and the wide left was last year. I don't know if this one will come to a kick or not because it's 22-7, and when Miami leads at the end of 3, they don't lose often.
Tell you what, if Florida State gets another one on the board here, everybody's going to tighten up real quick.
They work from the 44 with a first down. Ricks
Look out.
Floats it out to Booker, and he is dropped for a loss of about 5 as we check in with John in New York.
You guys want to see a great play? Clemson against Virginia. Whitehurst is going to give it to Yusef Kelly. Back to Derek Hamilton. He's going to pass to Kevin Youngblood. He takes it and gets it down to the 1-yard line. And from there, Whitehurst takes it in. So Clemson has come back to tie Virginia. And Arkansas trailing now 10-3 against Auburn.
Well, that looked like a Bowden play.
Yeah,
for
reverse
Clemson.
Pass.
Today it's a little sloppy to do a lot of that here. 2nd and 14 for Chris Ricks from the gun. Trying to take off with it. He finds some open field. This is what's make him so good, and cartwheels down to the 41-yard line. Now he's an excited quarterback. Mud in his face. 18-yard run in Miami's face.
Defense comes up the field, and there's a crease in the center, and Chris takes it. Nice job of getting downfield, and then, well, he doesn't really get down and protect himself, but he gets down.
And the thing that's so oft criticized by guys that are not Chris Ricks supporters, that he runs too often, that just saved the day on that 3rd down. And now Booker inside the 40 to the 39, 13:40 to go. As Bob said, if Florida State scores here, look out. 8th play of the drive coming up for the Noles. You could see when they got those 2 interceptions. As we said, we don't know if the momentum swung completely. But when Leroy Smith and Rufus Brown intercepted those 2 balls, even though one of them proved to be points and the other one didn't, the momentum has swung a little bit to Florida State.
And it changed with the defense. Florida State defensively went out and took the ball away from Miami on 3 straight occasions.
2nd down. Every play getting bigger. Ricks in trouble. Got away from 1. Found some open field again. Diving forward, he might have another first down. Very close.
He's a different player right now than he was in the first half. Not throwing the bad passes, making decisions, just taking off and running when he needs to.
A 3rd down and a short 1 to go. 26 yards rushing on this drive for Chris. Remember, the sacks are added in there. That's why what I just said made that statistic look a little different. Jones, Vilma's got him all wrapped up.
Miami has shut down the running game all day.
I think he got a good spot, though, Grease. I think it's a first down. They're going to bring the chains out. Boy, if he didn't, he's 2 lengths of the chain short. Well, this is the biggest measurement of the day, obviously.
Even if you don't have it, you still
got to
go
go.
for it.
Yeah. They're not going to see it that many more times. There's only 12 minutes left in the game. Yeah, he got it by the football. So the drive stays alive. Bobby Bowden and Larry Coker A lot of respect between those two guys. One was an assistant forever, became a head coach and won a national championship. The second year got back to the national championship. This guy's won 2 in the 90s, and he's won 337 games. His team's got a first down at the 31 of the Hurricanes. Florida State can't afford any more mistakes. Every snap counts now. Ricks flushed from the pocket. Looking downfield. Lets it go. He's got Thorpe out there. Incomplete in the end zone. Sean Taylor again was right there. He thought he was interfered with.
That's 5 balls he's had his hands on today, Taylor.
He's had his hand on the ball more than most receivers are running backs.
He's got to love this.
Earlier we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Which quarterback has the most career passing yards in the Miami-Florida State series? I got to guess. I'll give you guys first crack.
I got to say Dorsey.
Okay. How about you, Swanee?
Oh, we're talking about any quarterback?
Yep.
Not just, well, I don't know. Dorsey's been there a lot. I'm going to say Winky. I know he had 2 huge games, even though he lost one of them.
I'm going to go with Winky, too. We'll give you the answer after this. Dorsey won his, though. Bob's got a good point. On second down, quick throw, out complete. And Chauncey Stovall's got the catch. And our answer for you, we actually gave you about 2 quarters to think about this. So a lot of you out there had time to either go to your computers or go to your scrapbooks. And the answer is Chris Wenke with 1,144 yards in 3 games. Didn't necessarily get the wins, but he got a lot of yards. And a Heisman Trophy while he played here.
Big play here.
Guy wearing the same number, also named Chris. Hands off to his fullback, B.J. Dean. And B.J. getting a little sugar. He doesn't handle it much, but that's a big one.
It's a nice call by Jeff Bowden, the offensive coordinator for the Seminoles. They're in this game. They're back in it. They just got to keep plugging and no turnovers.
This is his career-long run, Bob. I like that.
This may be his only run of the year.
His 8th carry of the season, but this one the biggest one by far. And a first down now in the red zone again for Florida State. At the Canes 17-yard line. Game getting interesting. Thorpe in motion toward the ball. Ricks in trouble, and down he goes. Orrin Harris. Those two have had a lot of conversations today. Orrin's had a good game. Sophomore tackle out of Newark, Delaware.
Here he is right here. He's just going to beat the offensive guard lined up in front of him. Just throws him out of the way. That's Bobby Meeks, the right guard. Harris gets back there. 3rd sack of the year.
And as if Florida State needed anything working against it anymore, the rain just started big time again.
It is really coming down.
And now they need a pass play. 2nd down and 18. Chris Ricks from the shotgun, wet football, hands it off to Leon Washington. Washington broke a tackle, got back across the original line of scrimmage, and he's down to the 13.
That's a nice call. Line up, show pass, go in the gun, but then run the football. You don't have many plays that you can run from a shotgun formation, but the draw to your little scat back is an outstanding call because you show pass from the start. The offensive line gets down, picks up a couple blocks, mine rod.
Do you believe this is the 15th play of this drive coming up?
Wow.
It's 2 down territory, you can bet. 3rd down at the 13-yard line of Miami. Canes are going to blitz. Ricks throws. Thorpe dropped it. Flag down. Penalty marker. It'll be first down Florida State.
You got 3 flags.
Kelly Jennings went up with Thorpe. The ball came loose. The flags came out. There's your laundry. Pass interference on Miami.
Single coverage out here. You got blitz.
Pass interference. Gets the defense. Spot foul. Automatic. First down.
I think he had his left hand on him before they went up for the ball. Yeah, I see him pulling on the jersey. It's a good call.
Chris Ricks had to wait and wait and wait, and he paid for it from Sean Taylor. Who else? On a safety blitz. The officials trying to keep the ball dry before they put it down at the last moment. It'll be at the 5-yard line. I was wondering why Greg Jones wouldn't be in there. He just trotted to the huddle.
You don't want to get fancy and run wide. You need your big power back.
22-7 Miami. First and goal Florida State, trying to get a touchdown to make it a game. Greg Jones. Vilma's got him wrapped up. Might have gotten a yard, though.
We mentioned Florida State's defense leads the nation in fewest points allowed. Miami's defense has only allowed 5 touchdowns this year.
Second and goal now to 4.
5 rushing touchdowns.
Florida State took over at its own 17 when there was still 3 minutes and change left in the third quarter. There's 8.5 minutes left in the game. Pretty soon they got to get it in the end zone because they know they have to get it back again.
Yes.
Second and goal at the Canes 4. Jones again. Up the middle. Maybe got to the 2 and then he got planted. Vilma is there. So is Greg Threet. Whew. There's a little bit of hitting going on right now, partner.
There is some hitting going on. And it looked like Jones was going to have his way until Taylor came up and pushed the pile back.
Is it too late for play action, or do you have to keep knocking it in there?
I think it's too late for play action. I don't think it's too late for a quarterback draw.
Chris Ricks wants a little quiet on that end of the field.
This is power football here.
And he wants a little divine intervention. He wants Greg Jones in the end zone, and he's not getting anywhere near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
DJ Williams led the charge. You got to go. It's 4th down.
You got to go for it, and even if you don't make it, you still leave Miami backed up. But you certainly would like to get it in here.
And timeout taken by Florida State. Bobby Bowden will talk it over with his offensive coordinator and son Jeff. We'll talk it over in the booth. We'll be back. 7:17 left. 22-7 Miami. Offensive coordinator Jeff Bowden has talked it over for about the last 4 minutes with his dad, the head coach Bobby, on the sideline. And it is 4th down Florida State.
And you'll be able to tell who called this play by the formation. If it's a power I formation, Bobby called it. If it's a spread,
yeah.
This could very easily be a quarterback draw. In fact, I'd be willing to bet on it.
4th down and goal. They're 0 for 1 on 4th down conversions. They had that Hail Mary to end the first half. Ricks scrambles, has to get rid of it. Wobbling pass, and it's almost intercepted. It's incomplete. Greg Threet broke it up. Miami takes over.
You got to block somebody on the defensive line. The lineman, the offensive line didn't block anybody.
18-play drive that comes up empty. That could be the killer, and that could be the winner for Miami.
Let's go back to the last play. Here are the 2 linebackers right here. They get up into the line of scrimmage. The defensive end is going to come free. You've got to block somebody to give your quarterback time to throw. He does a nice job getting around the defensive end, Atkins. But when you're rolling out like that and you got a wet ball and you throw it from your back foot, that's a good attacking scheme by Miami. They won that play.
A Nissan drive summary for Miami. The last 3 times they've given it up. That's what Florida State has got to hang their hopes on now, because there's only 7:11 left. Winslow in motion. Jared Payton. Payton bounces out across the 10 and out to the 16-yard line. Big run, closing in on 100, closing in on another win for Miami. Let's check in with John in New York.
Big rivalry where you guys are, and we have a bigger one coming up as well. Texas and Oklahoma. This is before the game, and the players come head to head, helmet to helmet. Bob Stoops, head coach of Oklahoma, said, "Get back. These guys want to go after it right now. They don't want to wait until you guys are done, but they'll have to. Oklahoma, Texas. Some of you will see Arizona State, Oregon, or Penn State and Purdue.
Brent and Gary and Jack are probably fighting too. Ball is loose. And still Miami ball. Boy, almost another turnover.
There's
Art Keel, the offensive line coach.
You know, he's been at Miami for 25 years. He was a player there. Then he was a graduate assistant. Then he was an assistant coach. He's been an assistant. He's the assistant head coach now. He's been under 5 head coaches, has 5 championship rings, and he is one of the best coaches around. He's an offensive line coach, and he is doing a great job with that offensive line.
Jared Payton today has more yardage than Florida State as a team. It's a career high, 95 yards on the ground.
But the key to him right now is not fumbling the football, holding on to that ball.
And goes down at about the 18-yard line. Got a couple. So when we started a little over 3 hours ago, we said, isn't it ironic that 2 Hall of Famers' sons, and there they are in the same picture, would have such a big bearing on a college football game. And Kellen Winslow Sr.'s in the Hall of Fame. The late Walter Payton's in the Hall of Fame. And Jarrett and Kellen right now having a chat because they are going to be a huge part of a big, big win if they can hold on here the next 5.5 minutes. Now,
if Sean Taylor's dad would have been an All-American or a Hall of Famer, we could have put him up too. That we'd had all 3 of them covered.
Yes, we could have. 3rd down and long. They play it safe. Payton bounces off the first tackle, but Nicholson, nice open field stop by A.J. Nicholson. Penalty marker down. It is a holding call against the Hurricanes.
They'll probably decline that.
Bobby Bowden might have to wait another Saturday for win number 338. That's how many Joe Paterno has. Bobby's number 2 at 337. A lot of people felt Bobby's team favored today, that they'd win at home and that Joe Paterno might lose, and by Sunday they'd both be at 338, but it doesn't look like it's going to play out that way. Brian Monroe to punt. Let's see if Florida State will bring it to him.
They've blocked 1 punt this year already.
Tell you what, Miami sure putting the protection up there, expecting a full onslaught. Snap is wide. He just got the kick away. And Chris Davis has to let it roll, and now he picks it up. Ooh, and he paid for it at the 42-yard line. 43-yard kick, 4:48 remaining. Miami 22, Florida State 7. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Valvoline's Max Life. At 75,000 miles, it's time to switch to Max Life. Nissan and your Nissan dealer. And Coca-Cola, let's make it real. The reality of this is it looks like Miami will run its regular season win streak to 38 games. Its regular season road win streak to 18 in a row if they can hang on the next 448s.
Talk about some road warriors.
Yep.
17 road wins in a row. Miami's always been good on the road.
Ricks from the shotgun. You see the 5 receiver group for him. Has time. Now has to scramble. He doesn't throw that well on the run. Lets this one go, and a one-hopper intended for Thorpe. Time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. John, Terry, and Craig will have the scores and highlights from around the country. And, of course, the second half of our doubleheader on ABC is coming up as soon as we're done. Jared Payton, his first start will be a memorable one. A career-high 95 yards. And remember, he scored the offensive touchdown on a 14-yard screen pass.
The only touchdown Miami offense scored, he got. 5th-year senior, makes his first start.
Good for him. Quick pass out to P.K. Sam. Broke 1 tackle, got around to second. Spinning his way to the 49. Nifty move by P.K. Sam. He's about a yard short of a first down.
Another Florida State drive. Their last drive, they had the ball a long time.
Over 11 minutes.
18 plays and didn't get anything out of it.
And they know they got to get something out of this one or this game's over. We're down to almost 4 minutes. And you see they're about a little over a yard shy of the first down. Leon Washington's back in there. And movement and motion, and Miami says that Florida State jumped, and maybe they did.
Check the color of those yellow flags.
To the snap. False start. Offense.
And a lot of yellow flags today, and a lot of mud.
A lot of mud, a lot of laundry. First penalty this half. Could have fooled me.
Could have fooled me too.
On Florida State, it's the first penalty of this half.
All right.
That sounds more like it.
All right.
3rd down and 6. And now we're under 4 minutes. 15 points. Florida State's got to make up. They've got to get a big play pretty soon. Ricks throws incomplete.
Yeah, you got
John Vilma interfered with Leon Washington.
Yeah.
Just a little bit early for John.
Pass was intended for number 3, Leon Washington.
He got there a half step too quickly. Vilma, who admitted this week he hated to, but he finally got around to admitting that Florida State was one of his options where he'd play football. Grew up right near the University of Miami, Coral Gables, down in Bob's old stomping ground. And part of the reason he thought about coming to Florida State was when Chuck Amato was here as defensive coach before he left for North Carolina State. He said as soon as he went to Raleigh, I knew I was staying in Miami.
There's something there to be said too.
The penalty yards, we said earlier, the one with the most usually wins, believe it or not. Ricks, look out, Chris, throwing long, double coverage out there, and a penalty marker. It's probably going to be offensive pass interference.
Yeah.
It was Chris Davis out there, and Merriweather and Taylor really had a better play on the ball than the wide receiver did.
Taylor had his eyes on his sixth one. He wanted to get his hands on it. Some days you go and you don't even get close to an interception.
Right. There are 2 penalties on the play. Pass interference, offense, roughing the passer, defense. Penalties, offset, repeat down.
So we'll do it again.
And there's Larry Coker talking to Natton, number 57.
Here's Davis with the shove on Taylor. He almost caught it anyway.
He got them both.
And here's the late hit on the quarterback. And Chris Ricks took it standing up.
I think that's a good call. He took 2 steps before hitting the quarterback.
So now the 47-yard line is a first down. There's the games coming up next. Part of our doubleheader. This one's been pretty much all Miami, but there's still hope for Florida State. Quarterback drawn, he'll have to take it outside, and he gets nothing out of it. Maybe got a yard. So this will be another long day and another long week for Chris Ricks if Florida State doesn't win this game.
Well, it was a tough one. It was not only you were fighting a very difficult defense, an aggressive defense in Miami, but you're also fighting the conditions, the weather.
Yep.
And that's tough enough to do.
And they've been way below poor all day. 3.5 minutes to go. Ricks throws. This one's complete. PK Sam has been really his favorite target today, inside the 40 to the 39.
You know, we mentioned it earlier about practicing in bad weather. This is why you should practice some in bad weather. You don't have to go out every time it rains or in bad weather, but you need to have some serious practice conditions to prepare for games like this.
And like you said, some days when it's this bad, you don't even think about it. You don't practice at all.
You don't go out. You have lightning or it's just raining too hard.
3rd down. Chris Ricks firing. Oh, broken up, and Taylor got a hand on another one. And Alfonso Marshall was there too. And now it's 4th down.
Well, Bob and Brad, I don't know about Florida State, but Larry Coker told me that there was quite a bit of rain in Florida and this year, that they've practiced a fair amount in rainy weather and conditions. So I think what you said holds true, and Larry Coker had excellent confidence in his team coming out when the rain was coming down.
Yeah, well, the other thing, you just can't do what you want to do when it rains, like throwing the ball way down the field, down the sideline. You can't do that because maybe your quarterback has small hands and it's going to slip. If you can't throw passes when the ball's wet, you just can't do some things.
Here's the last chance for Florida State on 4th and 2. Chris Ricks trying to buy himself some time. Lofts it out for Kerfonso Thorpe. Broken up by Sean Taylor. How many times have we said that today? So Miami will take over. Many of you that are waiting for the Oklahoma-Texas game, you'll see your kickoff. We've got a timeout with 2:41 remaining in the ball game. Miami is in command, and it appears the number 2 team in the country will be 6-0 moments from now. Our Pacific Life game summary on a rainy day in Tallahassee. Brock Berlin didn't have to do a lot. He threw more interceptions than Chris Ricks, but he's the one that's going to get another win. Turnovers were the story today by far, and the points that came off them. And Miami just stopped Florida State on downs again, which they did earlier after an 18-play, 11-minute-plus drive that could have had Florida State in the mix in this fourth quarter. And now they just gave it back to Miami again at the 40-yard line. So
only 6 of the 29 points that were scored in this game didn't come off of turnovers. So that's kind of the way this day went. Bad day, bad weather.
And just straight ahead for the quarterback, Brock Berlin. So he's going to go to 6-0 as Miami's starting quarterback. As we check in with John in New York. John.
Another Bowden update, and Clemson looked like they had the game won, but down to the final minute, Alvin Pearman takes it in for Virginia. The extra point ties the game. They are now in overtime. Meanwhile, Arkansas loses for the first time this year, down by Auburn 10-3.
Final 2:33 here, John. And Miami, you think about winning 18 straight regular season road games.
Yeah.
We did the last time they lost. It seems like it was 100 years ago. It was at Washington in Seattle in the year 2000, and then they went on a string where Kenny Dorsey didn't lose for a couple of years. They won a national championship.
And it's not very often, Brad, that the Hurricanes are underdogs.
Right.
And I'm sure that Larry Coker used that as some motivation. The Canes came in to this game a 7-point underdog, primarily on the strength of barely beating West Virginia 10 days ago, and then probably the loss of Frank Gore, the running back.
Yep. Well, Jared Payton's been the guy that upheld that part of the business today. He's the tailback right now. He probably won't see it. Maybe Berlin will just take a snap himself again here, because Florida State's running out of timeouts and ways to stop the clock. They will give it to Jarrett one more time. Payton up the middle. And again, the games that are following us, the Oklahoma and Texas folks, you'll see the kickoff of that one. Penn State and Purdue in the Big Ten, Oregon and Arizona State in the Pac-10. That's what's coming up next.
Bob and Brad, Jared Payton's having a solid football game for his team this afternoon. And one of the things he wanted most for this game was for his mother, Connie, to be here at the game. But she's got another child, a daughter at Arizona State, and she had to be there. She made a commitment. And I talked to him beforehand. He said, you know, I really wanted my mom to be at this game, to see this game, but I love her, and just like my dad, I know she is always with me. So, Connie, he's got you in his heart.
Yep, and he sure does, and he's played with a lot of heart today. That carry will make him fall further away from the 100-yard mark. He needed about one more yard, but
a smart move by not going out of bounds.
Exactly. So a penalty marker, didn't see that in all the mud. Personal foul and holding, double whammy on Miami.
And the negative about that for Miami is it stops the clock. I don't think there's any doubt as to the outcome of the game. But
holding against the offense. Penalties decline. Dead ball, personal foul against the offense will be assessed. 4th down.
A lot of flags on this day. Larry Coker will be 30-1.
What an outstanding job he's done. You know, we just kind of take him for granted. He's been a coach at the University of Miami a little over 2 years. He's been in the national championship game both years and won it one time. He has his team undefeated in the 3rd year.
Here's Here's a Affleck trivia question for you.
Right.
He's about to become the first coach since the 1950s to win his first 3 games against Florida State. Andy Gustafson.
Andy
did it
Gustafson.
back in the 50s.
Good old Andy.
Time to punt. Monroe had a lot of pressure on him on the last kick. Taking as much time as they can before the snap. And in fact, they'll go to the point where they'll take the delay of game and let all the time wind down. Down to 1:16 as they walk off another penalty. Action tonight on ESPN and ESPN2. Great weekend of college football. Georgia and Tennessee will get together. Number 10 Dogs against the Volunteers in Ohio State and Wisconsin. 9 o'clock on ESPN, and that'll be a tough one at Camp Randall at 8 o'clock Central Time after a day of bratwurst and cheese.
That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, it will. Nice high kick by Monroe. Returnable, though, for Davis from the 37, but he goes down in his tracks.
And that's the way the game has been.
Yep.
That's the type of field we've had. Slippery all day. You just cannot do the things you're normally used to doing.
You got any guesses on our Chevrolet most valuable players?
I'd take Sean Taylor for Miami.
I would too. Sean Taylor, 2 interceptions. He had his hands on it 6 times today. Caught 2 of them, took 1 to the barn for a touchdown. Michael Boulware was in double figures in tackles. He'll go home an unhappy senior, though, because he will have never beaten the Hurricanes. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 donation to each university's General Scholarship Fund. Chris Ricks, final minute, gets the ball complete. Lorenzo Booker. And we wind under a minute. Florida State does have 1 timeout remaining, but the time is running out. Again, the games coming up that you'll see. Check your local listings. Well, what's next on Separation Saturday? And this is apparently going to separate Florida State from its number 5 national ranking. That we know. And Virginia Tech, number 4, with a big win today. The outcome of Oklahoma and Texas will have a bearing on shaking up the ratings. The first BCS poll comes out 9 days from now. And this team will definitely be number 2 in the nation next week. Maybe number 1, depending on what Texas has to say to Oklahoma. I don't imagine the Hurricanes are worrying about that right now. They're just thinking that they're about ready to get their 27th win in 47 outings against their in-state rivals from here in the state's capital of Tallahassee. PK Sam, nice catch. He's had a good game. It's not going to be enough, but he's been the favorite target today for Chris Ricks. 8 catches for 79 yards for PK. And while Chris has desperately tried to get some big ones to Crofonzo Thorpe, other than that one early in the ball game, which basically he just lofted up there and Crofonzo went and got it, he hasn't been a factor today. Final 20 seconds. Ricks fires it out in the flat. Davis makes a nice move on, spins his way inside the 30, down or 35, down to the 33. And 12 seconds, all we have left. And Florida State's taking its last time out with 12 seconds left.
Well, Florida State will turn their attention back to the ACC, the conference. Get back in, try to win the conference that they've dominated since they've been in it.
To the tune of, what, 10 out of the last 11 championships in the ACC.
Yep.
Bobby's going to have to wait another day for win number 338.
Miami will be joining them next year in the conference. This game will be played on Labor Day weekend.
Yep, on a Monday night.
Monday night.
On ABC. So Larry Coker, 30-1, not too shabby, huh? And the one was an overtime loss in a national championship game. Well, he'll go back to...
Good guy, runs a nice program.
Yes, he does. He'll go back to South Florida, a happy camper. He'll have won 3 straight in his first 3 years against the Seminoles. Final couple of plays coming up, 12 seconds remaining. Ricks rolls to throw. Chris has been running that way all day and got it to PK Sam out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. So one play left at least. Another pickup of 16.
Like this game is never going to end.
Yeah. The game that wouldn't give us the doubleheader. It just won't stop. All of you that are waiting for the doubleheader games, some of them underway, and you'll see all those in the next 6 seconds or so. At the 17 might be the final play of the ball game. It will be the last play, barring a penalty. Throw to the end zone, touchdown. Chris Davis. Chris Ricks finds Chris Davis in the end zone. It's just going to make the scoreboard look a little better. 16-yard touchdown pass. Too little, too late.
But he never gave up.
Nope.
Kept fighting. Maybe learned something from this.
And the Canes can celebrate. Brock Berlin still unbeaten as their quarterback. And he hasn't lost since he was back in short pants. This will be 52 straight games back to high school that Brock hasn't lost a ball game.
Great school.
Beatty's extra point is good. And that will give us the final tally. 22-14. Miami wins it. So the Canes, number 2 in the nation, go to 6-0. The score is closer than the game really was. It was Miami's ball game, though they got sloppy in the second half with some turnovers. They pretty much dominated play today and showed that they are indeed among the elites. Florida State has to regroup a little bit. They lose their first one of the year to go to 5-1, and they will drop probably out of the top 10. So you can see Swanee is lining up with Larry Coker. Let's go down to him. Lynn.
Well, Coach, tough, sloppy, hard-fought ball game. If you had one game ball, do you give it to Sean Taylor or do you give it to special teams?
I'll tell you what, special teams, sure, but Sean Taylor was phenomenal today. You got to give Sean Taylor a game ball. This was just a great effort by our football team. We didn't flinch. We came into a tough environment against an outstanding football team. This is a great win for us.
Coach, thank you very much. Brad?
All right, fellas, that's the final. 22-14 from Tallahassee. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. Coming up next, the second half of our college football doubleheader. Most you'll see top-ranked Oklahoma against Texas. Other will see Penn State battle Purdue. On the West Coast, you'll see Oregon and Arizona State. Once again, our final score. Number 2, Miami, over number 5, Florida State. 22-14 is our final. For Bob Greasy and Lynn Swan and our ABC crew from Tallahassee, I'm Brad Nessler. So long.